Hello, people. I don't know if it's streaming or not, what kind of thing it's telling, but like, we're here. Very nice. And I have a cool camera setup today. We're back in the home, my normal home, not my school home. And because of that, we get better cameras, better lights, better looking setup, better internet. Everything's better. It's just better. And this is for the small time that I'm here back because the semester ain't over. But today we're doing some stuff because election is in like 2 days. We gotta get to work right now. So what was I trying to do? I cannot remember. I think I was trying to check something, but like I don't know what I was trying to check. Oh yeah, I was just trying to check if this one is correct. What? Because I have to look there. So much stuff on my face, bro. That's not good. Let's restart the capture. Let's have that set up. And then for advanced properties, need to check the advanced properties. No, not those ones. The advanced properties, advanced audio properties, and then we're going to put on the other tracks, and then we're good. So now we can begin. We're watching the party leader debate today, and it's gonna take a bit because I am notoriously slow at reacting to things. But that's what we want to do today. So we're gonna switch over to the right thing, right scene, and let's get on with it, brothers. So people, let's go. Ready, set, go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Serapio. Thank
Hello,
you for
Hello,
joining us
brother.
here on CPAC as we bring you special coverage
go.
tonight of the Ontario Leaders Debate. We are just 10 days away from Election Day in Ontario, and tonight we will hear from the leaders of the province's 4 major parties over the next 90 minutes. They will debate each other, answer questions posed by tonight's moderators, and on February the 27th, it will be up to the voters of Ontario to decide who they would like to lead the province. With that, let's now join David Common from CBC Radio, who will moderate tonight's exchange, joined by Siobhan Morris of CTV News and Colin DeMello, president of the Queen's Park Press Gallery.
Let's do it.
Ten days remain until Ontario voters decide. Tonight, we'll hear from the 4 candidates
It is now
who
like
will
2
be
days
your
away.
premier. This is the 2025
That's
Ontario Leaders
crazy,
Debate.
bro.
Good evening. Live from the Canadian Broadcasting Centre, I'm David Common, and I'll
Yeah, 'cause you
moderate
can
the
see,
debate
man,
between
it looked
these
too
4 major
wild
party
that
leaders.
way.
To my right, Green Party
Let's
leader
just get
Mike
this
Schreiner
to bed
and
on the
Progressive
sun.
Conservative
Let's
leader
stop.
Doug Ford. To my left, Liberal leader
Progressive
Bonnie
leader.
Crombie and NDP leader Marit Stiles. Hello to all of you.
Good evening.
Hello, people. Let's see if we can upgrade the quality. No, we cannot.
We've given the leaders time limits
terrible.
tonight, and I'll make sure that they stick to them.
They
They've
have
agreed to
time
the
limits.
format and the rules,
Oh.
but they do not know the questions
Did
in
I hear
advance.
myself?
They're speaking.
I thought I heard a something like that. If not, I guess not. But like that was weird. That felt wonky. I thought I heard something like.
Order has been determined by a draw. And so let's get right into it. Our first question is on the issue of leadership. You each have 1 minute. I would turn to Doug Ford first. What makes you the right leader to respond to the tariff threat?
Well, this election, folks, is all about leadership. It's who do you believe is going to protect your family, protect your businesses, protect jobs, and protect your community. It's about who you believe is going to protect Ontario. We've seen what President Trump's tariffs will do, and we're going to see what President Trump is going to be like for the next 4 years. If these tariffs go through, no matter if it's next month, next year.
Let's pause and right there. Expect the political answer. And the political answer that he is giving as the incumbent candidate. He's saying, I'm the guy. So just stay with me. I guess just stay with me because I got it. I got it under control. Which isn't bad. Which isn't terrible. But like it is the way that the world works. And also my computer is still I'm not even this is annoying. I hate this so much. What is going on with this? Why is the world so backwards? My thing is saying that it's not receiving data. I hate this. What do you mean you're not receiving data? What do you mean, bro? What do you mean? You were receiving data just right. Let's just be on with the world. I'll start recording at the same time. Let me just keep that up. So for the people that if I have to separate this somehow, well, all I know is that what we're here and now, we're watching the debate. Doug Ford has just spoken, and his first words were like, we need to deal with the terror threat, and what makes him the greatest leader, we don't know, because he's just setting the scene at the moment. He's not really giving his answer. He's just saying what the threat is. Right.
I can tell you one thing, they'll devastate the economy. But I can promise you, we will get through it. We'll get through it together. We'll be more united than ever before because we already have a base on our economy. We have a strong base. We're going to expand our economy, diversify our trade, bring companies in from all over the world, just like we've done for 7 years. Over $70 billion of investment have come to Ontario, 850,000 jobs. And I can tell you, I will fight like I've never fought before to protect the people of Ontario.
All right, Doug Ford, that is your time. We'll turn to Marit Stiles.
Actually, let's switch this one. Let's see how this one is. Let's switch it back. We're using this camera. We're using this camera. I don't care that it looks kind of bad on my side. It looks. It's like weird, but like it's good quality. Good quality. So I'll leave it like that. And I'm sad because this thing is still glitching and saying that it's not showing up. And I want to see. Oh, it didn't. My thing never resumed. Never uploaded the story. Never uploaded the story. For the thing. I'm using one of those cool edits things, but like the story has not been uploaded. But it's now uploading now, and it's been uploaded. But we're continuing on with the situation at hand, where he give some good answers, because in the sense that like he was able to answer the questions in such a way that he didn't really answer what makes him the best leader, but more of that what he will do, and that does kind of answer that question. But at the same time, it's not the answer. The question was what makes you, and you didn't give us a reason why you are the one. But like because the other guys can say the exact same thing to do that. But he did talk about his accomplishment, so it's like 800,000 whatever whatever, how many jobs 850,000 jobs, and that kind of works out. But like that's not really answer, but we'll keep going. Also cool that they color code that at least two of them color code
to respond to the tariff threat.
Well, thank you, and hello everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. I'm Marit Stiles, and
she's the only one that will speak in French in greeting the Ontario people. Could that backfire against her? Possibly, because everyone else just goes hello or just goes straight into answering the question. So on one hand, you could say that she's being nice and she's greeting us, but on the other hand, you could say that nah, she shouldn't have greeted me. I just wanted her to answer the question, because I don't even know what the question was. What was the question?
Respond to the tariff threat.
Well, thank
you. Okay, so it's the same question as what Doug Ford got, which makes sense. So if you have that situation where Doug Ford, you get the same question as Doug Ford, you technically do beat him by just saying greeting the people, because he didn't greet the people. He just said hello. Did he say hello? Let's check. Let's check if he said hello.
To my right, Green Party leader Mike Schreiner and
That guy has a good
Progressive
smile, bro.
Conservative leader Doug
Looks like
Ford. To my left, Liberal leader
Peabody and
Bonnie
Sherman.
Crom.
No, not Peabody and Sherman. What's it called? Wallace and Gromit. That smile is like he has a Wallace.
And NDP leader Marit Stiles. Hello to all of you.
Good evening.
See, everybody else is smiling
We've given
except
the
Doug
leaders
Ford. Doug
time
Ford
limits
doesn't have a
tonight, and
smile.
I'll
You
make
know?
sure that they
That's
stick
kinda
to
sad.
their speaking order.
Oh, that was the sound. Someone
Order has
like
been
did
determined
a
by and the rules, but they do not
someone
know
made
the
a
limits
someone
tonight.
made a
And I'll
like a
make sure that
weird
they stick
sound.
to them. They've agreed to the format and
That's the sound. Somebody in the background went like, and it was like, whoa, I was
the
confused.
rules, but
But
they
it was
do
in
not
the
know
video.
the
That makes
questions in
sense. That
advance.
makes sense. Okay, come
I
on,
would
guys.
turn to
Come on.
Doug Ford first. What makes you the right leader to respond to the tariff threat?
Did
Well,
you
this
did you
election,
greet us?
folks, is all about
He did treat us as folks. So like, but he does say that every single time that I've
for
heard
the
him
next
speak so
4
far.
years.
Through the roof.
But
There's
like,
been
but let's go back to her complaining about
Well, thank you and hello everyone.
Ford,
Bonjour
which
tout
makes
le
sense.
monde. I'm Marit Stiles.
yes. What she said that bonjour tout le monde was not that French. It was like you can get it that like she's not French enough. She's like it's like I think that's strategic use of French because like if she was more French, people would be like, "What is going? Why is there someone invading us?" But then her answer, her just like bonjour tout le monde is English enough that it just doesn't feel French. So like there's no Quebecois, like there's no vibe there. It's like if this sounds sequential, maybe who knows? Maybe someone is not gonna vote NDP because Mary Styles Mary Styles does not have the like the charisma. She has too much Quebec aura, and nobody wants Quebec aura in Ontario. And you can see that since I've switched over, I'm no longer Quebecois adjacent. I'm just I have no of their allegiance no more. I'm fully Ontarian. Until I switch over. If I switch over and I'm voting there, I have to do their own thing. But like when I'm here, it doesn't matter. I am fully fledged Ontarian. You know what I mean? Nothing more, nothing less. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this thing is still buffering. I don't know. Like it's the way that the thing is, and that's the way the thing is. I need to check if this thing is receiving any data, bro. This is not good. This is not good. I have one view. Yay. Why? Why, Lord? Why, Lord? Okay. So on the one hand, you can say that she's being nice, but she's rude. Okay, it's glitching. On the other hand, you can say that no, she shouldn't agree with me. I just wanted to. Okay. Okay, so it's being confusing. It doesn't know if it's sending data or not. My thing is pretending as if it doesn't know that I exist, and it's being like, oh, that kind of thing. I voted water with my Nokia. This guy is wild, and voted water with my Nokia. Like, are you making a reference to the Drake song or to an actual Nokia? And I was like, I voted water with my Nokia. What does that even mean, bro? Like, you are crazy. You are a crazy brother, and it's good to see you though. I missed you in reading week because my reading week is different because I'm in a better province, objectively. See, when I see I'm switching my allegiances. Like It's something I just do. I just move with the waves. I switch allegiances at any time, any place. You know, you know what I mean. I don't care where my allegiances lie. I just go. But like, let's get Mary Styles out of this. Merit Styles, sorry, Merit Styles out of this compromising position right here.
Styles, and my promise to you, first of all, is as Premier, I'm going to be on your side fighting rising costs.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to it if you win. If you win, your only thing is you gotta lower the prices. How are you gonna do that though? Let's see. That's the question.
More than 30 years ago, where I grew up in Newfoundland.
I watched this, so I pre-watched. Remember when I was talking about she's invaded? She did invade. She did. She grew up in Newfoundland of all places. Newfoundland, bruh. Newfoundland. Do you understand how terrible that is? I can't tell you how bad that is. But like, that's just the way that I had him. Like, it's just so sad that that's the way that the world is. Then it's like, nope, I'm just gonna. She invaded us and is trying to make our place great. And it's wild. Like, if she was trying to make Canada great as a whole, makes sense. But like, for invading Ontario from Newfoundland of all places, I respect it. I respect it. If she wins, I respect it. But she grew up in Newfoundland, just letting all the people know.
Newfoundland. Ontario was a place of opportunity, but not today. After 7 years of Doug Ford and the Conservatives, the cost of everything is through the roof. There's been bad deals, waste, and of course, lots of promises, but nothing really delivered. As we face this big threat from Donald Trump, something we've never faced quite to this extent before, Doug Ford quit his job. Well, I'm applying for that job. And my promise
liberals,
to you is this.
intimidation,
we're going to fight the rising costs.
conservatives,
we're going to hire doctors and fix the health.
Revigoration. Let's go. We got the reinvigoration or something like that. That's what NDP elimination, liberals intimidation, conservative reinvigoration. I don't know. Stabilization, whatever, something good for the conservatives, because that's what you're implying here. So like, that's just the way that we're gonna keep going. Keep going.
We're going to build the affordable housing that people need, and we are going to make sure we protect and defend
we need housing. We like, that's one thing that if Ontario needs anything, it's housing, and that's the question. Where are we gonna get those houses? We need those houses, and they need them cheap, not expensive. We need them cheap, bro. Cheap, real cheap, like extremely cheap. But I don't know how to do that. Like, seriously, I'll build them. I'm gonna be your newest civil engineer in like 4 years. So like, so show up and I will build them. But like, just how are you gonna pay for it? How are you gonna pay me? Like, that's what I want to know. But like, I just keep pausing at wild spots for merits. I'm sorry.
Every job
just,
in every
let's let her think.
That's my commitment to you.
Margaret Styles, thank you very much.
For every what?
And defend every job in every industry. That's my commitment.
Okay, I just had every dog. I was like, what?
Crombie, same question to you. What makes
conservative is just conservative because they just don't add extra things to it. That makes sense.
Honored to be here tonight.
I get you.
So for me, leadership is about.
She gives me kind of bad vibes. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Bonnie Crombie just gives me bad vibes. It just not gonna lie. She has that kind of face that is like angry, you know? And that's the question. I will build anything. I will build the best houses that the world has ever seen. But like, I need places to build. I need things to build, and I need the money to build it, you know? That's the way that I gotta make some money off of you. But like, I will build stuff, and I will sell at a reasonable price because I want more people to buy from me. Like, it's just simple business. But like, back to Bonnie Crombie, she gives me vibes that are not helpful. I don't like them. They're kind of whack. They're kind of whack, guys. They're kind of whack. But like, that's just I don't know, just my own assessment. That's just But she did color coordinate, and I give a point for that. You know, you just have to, like, she is the liberal leader, and she gave a red suit. The other guy, the progressive progressive conservative, he also took a blue suit, and I respect it. Green Party had a green tie. NDP did not have orange, which is a shame. I get it. Maybe you don't want to be affiliated with Orange, and like Orange is like close to Trump thing, like understandable, but like you gotta fit the program. Like you just missed the memo, you know? Like you're now, and then like Green Party is not like no one wants, no one's gonna vote for the Green Party. Like so like why did you wear green to a debate? Like just doesn't make sense, you know? His brother is crazy. Bro's gonna build everything. I could work with you. I could, no, I wouldn't work for you, but I could work with you. You know, he's like I would work in adjacent. I would work adjacent to you. Like I would get contracts from you. Like that's the way that this will work. Not like because project development is such a vague name. Such a vague name, but it's still brilliant. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant name. So just build everything. Just help me out and make everything great again, you know? Let's keep going.
It's about vision.
It's
It's also about priorities, and it's also about having integrity.
She just spammed words right there. She spammed words. It's about provision. What? No, protection or no, it's about vision. It's about protection and it's about integrity. That's what she said,
It's
I think.
also about priorities.
No, it's about priorities and it's about integrity. See, that's the thing. But technically, she's the only one that has actually answered the question. The three people that have gone, so of the two people, the first person said that you'll go with me. Like, let's do it together. Just ask the people straight up. Like, let's go together. We'll beat the tariffs together. The second person said, brothers, we need to make things affordable again. Technically did not mention the tariffs. Did not mention. Exactly. But yeah, he took it back. He's gonna resend it. Yeah, he's like to know the man. Yeah, exactly. Is to know the man. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he said just Doug Ford has been bad for the past 7 years, and what we need to do is move forward and get less things. Technically, did not answer the tariff question, but now the third person has answered with three words: priorities, vision, priorities, and then.
And it's also about having integrity.
And it's also about having integrity. So technically, she did answer the question. She's actually the one that answered the question. But technically, she didn't say that I have integrity. She just said it's about vision, priorities, and tech. Bro took back both the statements. That's wild. We do everything is known to the men's. Why do you say to the men's, bro? Like, what is known to the men's instead of known to man? Like, you just said to the men's. Like, like it's so easy. It's like it's such an easy. It's not an. It's what. 1, 2, 3, 4 different words. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different. Yeah, it is 4 different words. It is 4 different words. But like, at least she answered the question. She answered the question in the sense that, like, yeah, she did say 1, 2. She did visions, priorities, and then having integrity. But she didn't say 3 different. She didn't say it was 3 different things. She just said that it's for me.
David,
It's
and
does she
honored to be here tonight. So for me, leadership is about vision.
Yeah, she didn't. Wait, she didn't answer the question. She actually didn't answer the question. She just answered what leadership is about, which is kind of. She's closer to the answer than all the other ones have been. So maybe this other guy, I can't remember his name. We'll get his name in a sec. But maybe he'll answer the question with an answer that's like actually what I think. I am the best tariff person to just through the dare questions because and I will have a good answer there because like we learned this in English, brothers. We just go 1, 2, 3, you know, easy peasy. But like, nope, these guys have to say random things so that they can clip it. They're clip farming, bro. They're clip farming. But we live, we laugh, we lose.
Priorities,
you know what I mean?
and it's also about having integrity. It's about stepping up when you need to see something done. My mother always told me, Bonnie, if you don't like what you see, then change it. So that's why I'm here tonight running to be your premier. When I look around Ontario today, I can't recognize it. After 7 years, 2.5 million.
She gets lost in Ontario. That's what she said. She said she doesn't recognize it. She gets lost in Ontario. She can't find her way around. That's wild. If my premier is not able to find their way around in Ontario, right? You can't get from Oshawa to Brampton. From Brampton to Hamilton, bro. I don't want you. But maybe that's not what she's saying. Maybe she's talking about like economy or something.
Million people don't have a family doctor. People can't pay their groceries and their rent
about the economy
in the same month.
Got it.
1 million
Sorry.
people are using a food bank. That's Ontario today, very sadly. And we need to change it. And we need a leader who will not only protect jobs, but a leader who will get you a family doctor. And that's what Ontario Liberals will do. We'll get the basics right. I'll ensure you have a family doctor. I'm the only one on this platform that will cut your taxes. We're going to cut income taxes. We're going to take the HST off home heating and build homes that are affordable. That's what you get when you vote Ontario Liberals.
All right, Bonnie.
Not gonna lie, that's kind of smart though. Like HST on home heating, bruh. That's kind of cool. Like I can get a heat pump in this. Get some new technology in this house, bruh. Like what? What you talking about? That's kind of sweet. That's kind of sweet. She said cut taxes, guys. She said cut taxes. She said cut taxes, and I respect it. I respect it though. I respect it. I respect it. Let's keep going. But like.
Right, Bonnie Crombie, that is time. I'll turn now to Mike Schreiner. Again, the question is about the tariff threat. What makes you the right leader to deal with that?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, David, for the question.
This guy has, regrettably, the nerd voice. And sorry, brother, if you have the nerd voice, you have a lesser chance being the premier of Ontario, and much less the prime minister of this great country. And though you do have the nice smile, I respect, it's just not, you look too friendly. You can't go to war. You can't do any of those things. Also nice, the pin is quite nice. The 2 pins are quite nice. Respect those. Those are 2 good causes. I don't remember what the first one is for, but the second one is really nice. I respect it. But like seriously, let's hear you out. You're not gonna win, so like we don't really need to hear you.
For me, leadership is about putting people before self. I would not abandon my job at a time.
Respect the answer. Respect your answer, but it's not gonna make anybody vote for you.
When we should be coming together to show strength through unity to push back against these tariff threats. As someone who
second person that has mentioned the tariffs by name, and respect that you are the second person to do so. Doug Ford said it just because he wants to fearmonger and just be like, the tariffs are gonna destroy our economy. And respect it. It is true. They are gonna destroy our economy if they go through. Trump said put them on a pause for a month. We're almost at the end of that month. We're at the end of that month. No, it's next week. Next week is the end of that month. Next week is the end of that month. So if we get to that end of that month, we're in trouble. But that's not the point. So he did talk about tariffs and respect that. The other 2 just went and blamed Doug Ford. Respect though. because Doug Ford has not done the best. We do have some issues in this population. That's the thing. Liberals did say that they were gonna cut taxes. Respect. Respect on that. But like, let's keep
Someone
going.
who grew up in a rural community, I know what it feels like to have a government abandon your community. It's just not fair in Ontario right now that we have a government wasting $2.2 billion on a spa in downtown Toronto.
Ooh. We brought our receipts, 2.2 billion on a spa. What kind of spa is that? Like, what kind of spa is that? Like, is it the good spa or like the bad spa? What kind of spa? Like, I'm not trying to defend. I'm just saying, what kind of spa is it? Like, if it's a state-of-the-art spa, it should still only cost like maybe 10 million, maybe 20 billion, 20 million. But like, you know, that's the question. You know, that's the question. Bulletproof doors would be nice. True! Bulletproof doors would be nice. And at cheap prices. Cheap prices of bulletproof doors would be nice. Very much so. But like, none of them have said so. So like,
or tens of billions on
I'm not voting for any of them.
401. Or
what? 2 million for a tunnel on the
Toronto, or tens of billions on a tunnel under the 401.
Because the 401 is quite busy. But a tunnel, bro, instead of cool, nice public transit, I want a metro in Cornwall, bro. I want a metro in Hamilton, bro. I want a in London, Ontario. I want metros everywhere. I want a metro that connects us to all the different places. But he's giving a tunnel. But what if it's a metro tunnel? If it's a metro tunnel, I stand by it. He can dig the tunnels. He can dig all the tunnels he wants. But if it's just a tunnel for more road, disrespect on you, disrespect on your family, disrespect. Shame on you. But like, let's just keep going.
Or millions ripping up bike lanes in Toronto when so many people across this province are looking just, how do I afford a home?
The city is pretty when it's dead. Quebec people. He's not wrong that Quebec people have said this. It's something that I don't understand. That's why I'm not a Quebec person, you know? I'm just a Montreal person. There's a difference. Let me give you the difference. Montreal is like a multicultural. It's very nice. Very nice. Quebec, not so much. Not so much. Not so much. Not so much. So Quebec people, when they're talking about Quebec, the city Quebec, they think it's pretty when it's dead, which is quite wild. I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. Am I making up slander? Maybe, but you can't prove that I am. Exactly. What do you mean same thing? I told you same thing. It's not the same thing. It's about two different cities. Quebec and Montreal, two different things. Two different things, bro. Don't qualify. I have to qualify. You have to understand that there's differences. There's differences between the situations. They have the Montreal and then you have the Quebec. Quebec is Quebec, and then Montreal is just like an anomaly in the situation. It's a completely different scenario. It's not even close. It's not even close to the same. Please, brother, please. But like, let's keep going. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. It's a different. There's a difference. I can tell you, it's a difference. It's a big difference. What do you? My guy is trying to justify. It's like they'll never know. Quebec is crazy. Like that's he's not wrong. He's not wrong, actually. Bruh, the greater part of Quebec is quite, let's say, not friendly to people that speak other languages besides French. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say any further, but there is documented accounts of non-friendliness to people that do not speak the language French. Francais, you know? That's crazy, bro. That doesn't even make sense. That's crazy. People were this game is and you just just go let's keep going.
Home or find
Oh,
a
no.
doctor or not have my rural
Okay.
hospital
Yeah.
closed. Mr. Ford is handing
Okay.
out $200 checks to millionaires and billionaires at a time when we need to
$200 checks? What kind of thing is that? Like, why are you giving only $200? They don't ever respect that. Like, what do you need $200 for? But like, what is he actually giving 200? It's not. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If you're gonna be racist, get your racism right, bro. Like, just do it. Like, but like, like that's just the way. But like, Quebec is not as French, but Montreal as is an anomaly in this situation. It's just not. It's not the same. But like Quebec at a large, it's not that friendly. There's a reason why I stay in Montreal when I'm in Montreal. There's a reason. There's a reason. My hands are not tied.
handing out $200
Well, let's keep going.
checks to millionaires and billionaires at a time when we need to be in $200
Wait.
checks to millionaires and billionaires.
That makes no sense. Why would you give $200 checks to millions and billionaires? They don't need that. They don't need $200. They'll take it, but like they don't need it. You know, $200 is just $200. It's not like consequential. I need the $200. The millionaire does not need $200. I need the $200. Give me the $200. I need the $200 now, like right now. Like I need it in my bank account. I'm like send it over like right now. I need it right now. He didn't send it, but I'm waiting for the notification. Look forward. I'm waiting. Well, let's keep going.
At a time when we need to be investing in helping people afford homes, fix health care, and make
True.
life more affordable for the people of this province. That's the kind of leadership I would bring.
All right, Mike Schreiner, thank you very much.
Respect. Finally, somebody actually answered. Two people answered the question almost correctly. The first, Doug Ford, and this other guy that I can't remember his name. Because I'm not going to vote for his party. I'm sorry, I don't need to know your name. I'll get your name as the day progresses, but let's just go.
Subjects on our agenda tonight, but we also want to help you, the voter, understand the person behind the politician. So we have some quick personal questions. I'll just ask the candidates 30 seconds each to those leaders.
What's your
Start with
favorite
Bonnie
color?
Crombie. What was your first job? What did it teach you?
Oh, great. So I got a job when I was 14. I lied about my age. I was a cashier at Woolco, and I did a lot of retail at the mall and jean shops. And then I worked in a home decor store for many years. So I always had a part-time job. I wanted to contribute to the family.
Respect. But at the same time, why are you working so early? What are you working for? What are you working for? Emergency answers this question while I unpause. But why? Why was she working?
Income, and I wanted to be able to, pay for my own expenses. I think it's so.
She answered the question. He wanted to pay for his own expenses, but what were they?
Important that our young
She's
people,
not going to answer that
if they
question.
can find a job today, go out and work and contribute.
I want to contribute. That's why I contribute by talking. Instead of government tax, we need hood tax, tax appreciation tax, Asian appreciation tax, and February 16th, and more. For real, bro. We need a hood tax. We'll be like, you can deal your drugs, bro. You can deal the drugs. You can do all the violence, all that kind of stuff. Well, all we need from you is to just give us like a 12% tax on it, 12%, and it increases as the brackets go. Like you have illegal, like we might catch you, and if we catch you, Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky, you know, that kind of thing. If we catch you, you are going to jail. But like while we're not catching you, the money that we will see your money, and you must still give taxes out of the hood behaviors. But like we don't arrest you then. We only arrest you when we see you doing the stuff. But like the money that you can access the financial institutions. You can do all of that stuff. You can rob a bank and then go to the same bank like the next day or something like that kind of thing. Like once you escape the police, that kind of thing, and you can come back and you'll be like, yes, and like that's we can give you. You can use the things there, but we'll tax that. We'll tax that because like it's income, and technically because you're putting it back in the institution, it just makes sense like that way. So like that's what I'm thinking. So like if you have that kind of situation, that works that way. But then if you're in the other ones, then you have like the other taxes, like the Asian appreciation tax, that kind of thing. Because like we need to switch up the the economy. We need to get rid of racism in this country. Like that's that. Like and right now, our Asian folks are on the brunt of it at the moment. So like we need to switch. We need to switch We need to switch the kind of situation here. You know. And I think that's where we're gonna come through. That's how this thing is we're gonna turn this country around. I'm not familiar completely on the February 6th incident, but but I will get informed eventually. So let's keep going.
Bonnie Crombie, I'll turn
you.
to Mark Stiles. Your first job, what it taught you?
Well, let me see. First job babysitting, but I'll go to the second job.
Respect.
Which was I was a swimming instructor when I was like.
That's reasonable. That's a good job. Respect to those that swim instruct. I learned swimming the past year and a half or so, and respect to those because you guys, especially when it's like it's that kind of thing. When was CN Tower built? Sometime earlier in the year. I think it was last year or so. Like I think that's when I remember it being completed. Like I think last year or so. That's what I think it was. And so I think it was around February 6th last year. That's when I think it was. Yeah, around that. That's what I'm thinking. But I could be tripping there. I could be tripping.
I was like from the time I was about 15 onward, and I worked every summer doing that, and on the weekends, and mostly I taught little kids, really, really little kids. I learned.
Also respectable because like
That
actually
parents can have really.
it's respectable, but I will not tell the story that I was about to tell. There's no need for me to be cut out of context in that situation. So I'm just going to be
opinions about their kids and how they should be learning. That parents can have really strong opinions.
Okay. The other is trying to make me do work, and I have to do it now. Let's figure it out. CN Tower. CN Tower built states or whatever. Oh my god, oh my lord, my computer is almost dead. It was built, it started February 6th. Respect, actually, that's respectable. So it's February 6th is the beginning of the thing. And Let's search February 6th and see if there's anything special on that day. Interesting. Elizabeth II, Queen Lizzie, became on that day, on February 6th. So that's what he's talking about. That's what my brother is talking about. No, not Valentine's Day. Not Zodiacs. Let's check news. Let's see if there's anything cool happening on February 6th. Waterloo did something for the Daily Bulletin. Nothing good. Nothing bad. Nothing good. It could be 2-6. What do you mean? I'm confused. But like, I guess is that what you're talking about? Like as the holiday? So February 6th incident. Let me search it. Let me search it up. Let me see if there's any February 6th incident. It was not what? Oh my. Oh my. Wow. 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 Is this what you're talking about? This one over here? When we're talking about Third Republic, when that says that? Germany? German law. German law. Yep, wait. It's Paris. See? Paris. Bro does not know what incident he's talking about. That's kind of crazy. Bro doesn't know what incident he's talking about. Let's just check. Let's check. Oh. Are you talking about this? No. April 15th, 1890. Okay, let's get it. $19.89. Why did I not get that immediately? Why did I not get that? Why did I not? Oh Lord! I'm about to get banned from China. Oh come on! I wanted to get some good money from China, but I can't get money from China no more. You doomed me, bro. Why? 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 Okay, but you just doomed me from from getting money from China, bro. Why? Why? I respect it though. But let's just keep going. Also, I need to get I need to get my charger before my computer dies on me. So I'm gonna go run and do that. You guys can still hear that because it's my earbuds is the thing, right? I think so. Yeah, you could hear me say that. That's crazy. You could hear that I wasn't done. You can still hear me right now. Isn't that crazy? That's quite wild. Each time we go up the stairs and find out where I was going to go. And I found my place in this world. And see, my computer is telling me that yes, you are on low battery. You are on low battery. And yes, it's charging. Let's go. Okay, let's keep going.
Their kids and how they should be learning swimming lessons. I learned the responsibility of taking care of others, and I got to bring home money to my family, which was welcome and helped to contribute to going to university.
All right, Margaret Stiles, thanks very much. I'll turn to Doug Ford. Your
Let's
first
go.
job and what it taught you.
Well, my very, very first job was when I was in grade 2, delivering the Globe and Mail newspaper in the freezing cold weather at 5 in the morning. But let's say the real job, when I was about 16 years old, I went over to Canada Packers on St. Clair, worked there for 4 years. I'll never forget, I made $12.49 an hour, and back then that was big money.
I'm not
I brought home
translating that.
paycheck. I remember $310.
Don't have the
because you're
time,
only
you
allowed
know.
to work
It's like
24
well,
hours, but man,
schedule.
did we work. We slugged that beef day in, day out, and loaded up these 40-foot trailers, but it was one of the
Can't
great
translate
jobs
that,
when
sir.
you're a
I
teenager.
can't
Doug
do
Ford,
that.
thank you.
I
Mike
can't do
Schreiner,
that.
your first job, what it taught you.
Can't translate that.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, and my first job was feeding cattle, driving a tractor, and
Sorry, brother. We don't care. All the other ones, we cared. But you, we don't care because we're not voting for you. Am I gonna keep dissing this guy the entire time? Yes. If he says something nice, I will say that it's nice. But he said he grew up on a farm. And do I have disdain for people that grow up on a farm? No. Or do I? You'll never know.
and driving a combine, probably at an age that my parents would admit was far too young. But they didn't pay me for that because that was my contribution to the family farm. So my first job was actually my father loaned me the money to buy a lawnmower. And I went out and mowed people's yards and brought some money home for myself. And I learned how to be an entrepreneur. And I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. And I'm really proud of what I learned as a kid from my parents.
All right, Mike Schreiner, thank you. Our upcoming topics do have some ground rules.
Mike
And that is to
Schreiner.
say that if one of the
Not
leaders
bad
here
name,
makes a
not bad
claim about one of their opponents or another party or their government or a previous party leader in their answer, we're going to give that other person extra uninterrupted time to respond. So this means we sort of encourage you to talk about your plan. And with that, we turn to very important topic.
Respect. That's actually a cool thing that you get bonus every time you mention someone else. They get to be like, you talked about me. What kind of thing is it? Bro, switch languages on me, bro. You think I wouldn't notice? I'm not that dumb. I can see that there's a difference. I can tell the difference between languages. I can tell. But I still told I could tell. I'm not that racist, you know? That's a different level. I'm not that level, you know? Just letting everybody know that. I do know the difference between different languages. But let's just keep going.
Healthcare. You have 1 minute each. Bonnie Crombie, the first question to you.
Healthcare.
2.5 million people in this province do not have a family doctor. We see the strain on emergency rooms. You all have different proposals for a fix. What timeline? When can people expect to have a dedicated primary care?
Yeah, within 4 years, David, is the answer. So I talk to people across the province, and they tell me they're afraid to get sick. They're really worried that the worst thing that can happen to them is to have to need a family doctor because they know they might not have one available. That's not the kind of Ontario that I believe in, the kind where 2.5 million people don't have a family doctor, 11,000 are waiting for surgery or care or treatment, or people in the north have to drive 4 or 5 hours to see their family doctor. And that's because Doug Ford doesn't believe in our public health care system. One of the things that make us so proud to be Canadian. It's time for a change. A vote for Ontario.
Now that was a diss and he's gonna have chance to respond to the diss, and that's good. That's actually quite smart. But now she's now talking directly to us by looking us directly in the camera, which I respect. I respect.
Ontario's Liberals is a vote for family doctors. And how am I going to do that? By paying them better, bringing more of them, bringing in those internationally trained doctors that could be your children who are trained in the US or the UK. Let's bring them back home by
Let's go, bro. They're gonna bring the doctors back. They're gonna pay them better. I'm not gonna lie. The Liberal Party has been on point in this debate. The answers that they've been giving are not bad. Not bad, guys. Not bad. And they even recognize brain drain, bro. And if you guys don't, I mean, if you're thinking in a bad way, then you're wrong. Get your mind out of the gutter. We're talking about brain drain as in people that are educated here in Canada and then they leave to the US or the UK because they get more money. I might do that for US when I get my civil engineering degree because it's just more sustainable, bro. There's just more money down in the States. With tariffs, there might be less, depending on how Trump does his things. Will be done after he's out of president. But like the question is like when this we'll see where the state of the economies of both places are. But most likely I will do the brain drain thing if I'm still doing Montreal. I'm still doing Canadian civil engineering, that kind of thing. But like, what do you mean white dumb? What do you mean? Bro's being racist. Like you said. But like,
by doubling the residency spaces, by paying our nurses and our PSWs a living wage, but none of that can happen while Doug Ford is premier. So it's time for a change.
All right, Bonnie Crombie, that is your time. Because you mentioned Doug Ford twice, I'll give him 30 seconds to respond to those.
Respond. 30 seconds, brother. 30 seconds.
Well, first of all, there's no government in the history of this country that's invested more, 30% more than the previous government. That's over $30 billion. And we ended up going out there, attracting 15,000 new doctors, 100,000 new nurses, 30,000 nursing students in colleges and universities. But I can tell you one thing, you can't do it without a strong economy. The foundation of our healthcare is a strong economy, and unfortunately, all three of them fail in our economy.
All right, Doug Ford, I'll come back to you. Mike Schreiner, the question, of course, is how soon under your plan will people out there have dedicated primary care?
Within a four-year mandate, David. It's not fair in Ontario right now that 2.5 million.
Once again, I gotta diss you, bro. True. ProDev. Vote for ProDev. Private, public, comparison there. Like, it's just glorious because, you just have to have the cooperation there between ProDev and, we just need to make it better. He's a killer surgeon. Like, he kills people while being a surgeon. Like, he's a killer surgeon, like that kind of thing. And he's not talking like, I wish he was just saying it in the sense of like, he's a killer, like he's a good surgeon. He's actually a killer surgeon. Like that's the way that works. But you win some, you lose some. That's just the way that's just the way that the world works. So like, he's just being honest when he makes a mistake. He will admit that he killed the person. Not that it was a mistake or like that kind of thing. So it'll just be like, yeah, the guy died and I killed him. Like it's just the way that it worked. It just happened to be so. And now we can sell his organs and add to the GDP. It's like
million people don't have access to a family doctor.
If I get arrested for any of these talking points, it was good being here. It was a nice time being here. But that's just the thing.
Rural hospitals are closing their services, and we have 30,000 young people on a wait list to access mental health services. I was in Chesley, Ontario, and I met a man who said,
I've never heard of Chesley, Ontario, but Chesley, Ontario.
Thankfully, this local hospital saved my life. But if I have a stroke today, in the evening or the weekend, it won't save my life because it's only open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's what happens when you underinvest in healthcare. And that's exactly why the Ontario Greens have a plan to make sure everyone has a family doctor, primary healthcare provider, stop the privatization of healthcare, invest in rural hospitals, and ensure that the people who provide care for us, nurses and frontline healthcare workers, are paid a fair wage. And we will also expand mental health services because mental health is health.
Mike Schreiner, thanks.
Respect, actually. But at the same time, you ain't getting voted. So, no.
Thanks very much. We'll turn to Marit Stiles on the question, when under your plan will people out there who don't have a family doctor right now have one?
Right. Thanks for the
Hello,
question.
Margaret
And the
Stiles.
quick answer to that is our healthcare guarantee, which is that everybody will have one within 4 years. Having said that,
Why is everybody saying 4 years? Say faster than 4 years. Like, do you not know the Trump stat? The way you say day one until you get into the presidency, and then you stop saying day one because you can't do what you said you were gonna do day one, like end Ukraine versus Russia war day one before you step into office. He's in office. There's still fighting going on. So, like, you could say that. You could lie. Everybody knows that you could just lie. They're not lying. They're either not lying enough or they're just saying, like, we don't need to lie. And that's respect. I respect that. But at the same time, you could just lie. It's better politics. It makes politics worse overall. But it's better for you short term. You can get like a few more votes that way. By saying, I'll do it right now, tomorrow. Once I become premier, the next day, everybody has one. Right then, right there.
my pledge is also that within the first 100 days, we're going to remove the paperwork and the administrative burden from the desks of our family doctors. Look,
She knows how to do it. He figured it out. Respect. Respect. You know what we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go 100 days. Let's respect that. Respect that. Know thy doctor. Like, just that's all you have to say. Like, you just have to say once I step in, you'll just know your doctor. It'll just be like that. Like, you'll just be assigned a doctor that will be available to you in the next 4 years. It'll just be there. Like, just someone that's in med school right now. Like, you just know that doctor will eventually be your doctor. Eventually. And your doctor will say, hey, what a wonderful time of day. Something like that kind of thing.
family doctors that I talk to, what they want to do is see patients, and they're overwhelmed with that paperwork, that burden. So we're going to make sure we get that off their desks by providing additional support, connecting them to family health teams. And I'd say this as well to folks watching out there. 10,000 people in Sault Ste. Marie lost their doctors overnight, not that long ago. We have emergency rooms closed. An average wait time in an emergency room in Hamilton is 22 hours. Let that sink in. We cannot afford to continue on the road that we're on. So I'm also going to recruit and train and make life better for nurses so that we can keep them in our hospitals, treat them with respect, not take them to court.
Please know that no one will ever say great for the next great again in a sentence for the next 20 years. Like, no one will say that unless you want to either make people extremely angry or get the votes of people that you don't want angry, that you don't want to be part of your voting base, But no one's gonna say great again in a while. It's just everybody just says we need to return it to where it was, to how it was before, we need it to be better. We need to move forward. We need to leave the path that we're on. So it was that kind of thing. It was better before, or there was a time, there were things that were better before. And I know we need to go back to where it was before. We need to make it better again or great again. No one's gonna say that no more. But that's the way that the cookie crumbles. A certain orange man has made that word, those few words, hard to say. But even before that, another guy made that even harder to say. But like, yeah.
Or freeze their wages.
All right, Marit Stiles, I'll turn to Doug Ford on the core question. How soon under your plan will everyone have a dedicated primary care provider?
Well,
yes.
As I said earlier, we've invested over 30% more than the previous government, and that's over $30 billion.
Yes.
What we've done, and I don't care about political stripes, as you know, I'll work with anyone. We brought on Dr. Jane Philpott, former Liberal health minister, and we're spending over $1.8 billion to connect every single person. We're leading the country right now at 90% of people connected to primary care. But that's not good enough. We're going to hit 100% with the help of Dr. Jane Philpott, well-renowned right across the country. But we've also built, as I said, over 50 new hospital sites or additions, $50 billion.
Yeah, but when?
And we're going to continue to invest into the doctors, over 15,000 people, over 3,500 new beds, and another 3,000 on top of that. But you can't do this.
The answer was when.
Without the foundation, and that's the economy. And each of them fail on the economy.
Yeah, we get you. We get you about economy, but we want to be.
Thank you very much. We're going to turn now to our first debate, where anyone can jump in.
He didn't give a win.
Talk about what anyone else has said. I will step in if it turns into everyone just speaking over each other. And of course, we reserve the right, don't want to, but we reserve the right to mute microphones if the audience just can't understand what's being said here. Our subject continues to be healthcare. I'll turn to Mike Schreiner. And the question is a family doctor for everyone realistic and affordable?
It absolutely is.
Yes.
But it won't be if Ontario continues to be dead last in per capita healthcare spending in the entire country. It would take an additional $12 billion just to get us up to the average. That's why you have rural hospitals closing their services. That's why 2.5 million people don't have a doctor. We need to make the investments that the Ford government has failed to make.
I would just say this, you know, in answer to your question, David, like we cannot afford not to get this right. We cannot afford not to have family doctors for everyone. It's essential and it's crucial. But let's be clear, the healthcare crisis that we are in right now, the hallway healthcare crisis was invented by the previous Liberal government. But Doug Ford and his government have poured gasoline all over it. We have a crisis in our province right now. He can talk about how much he's spent on healthcare, but the reality is, you know, talk to any Ontarian about the state of our healthcare crisis right now. It's terrible. We cannot afford not to invest in healthcare right now and make sure people have family doctors, but also nurses in our hospitals right now. Respected.
By your own admission, Doug, you put $1.8 billion into your plan for healthcare. You put more into the spa at Ontario Place at $2.1 billion. Yeah, you might build hospitals, but you're not recruiting.
Respect this. That was a great diss. That was a great diss, bro. That was a great diss.
Doctors, you're not recruiting nurses and you're not giving them the operating costs. I'd like you to look into the camera and I'd like you to tell the people at home who lost loved ones while they were on the wait list what you did over the past 7 years to fix our healthcare system, because it's broken. We're in crisis and you're bragging about what you've done. It's been an abysmal failure.
Doug Ford?
Well, Bonnie, what I will tell you, there's a reason why Dr. Jane Philpott, a liberal minister comes to our team. It's very simple because she sees the vision. She sees that we're building healthcare. She sees that, again, backlog surgeries. You know something? We have less backlog surgeries per capita than anyone in the entire country. We bought over 49 MRI machines to spread out across the entire province.
11,000 people waited. 11,000 people died waiting for one of those scans.
Said he would
you know something? We will never.
It's gotten twice as worse.
We will never.
Can you explain to people?
We got 10 seconds.
We'll use a credit card. We'll use your OHIP card. That's what we're going to do.
Private medicine. That's what you want to take us to. Private medicine, Doug.
That's what we're going to do.
With that, we've run out of time in this segment. We're going to continue with another important subject, and that is the cost of living. Once again, you have one.
That was an interesting segment, because like there was some good disses thrown over there, but like Green Party, all that he has to do is just make sure that Doug Ford doesn't win. That's all. That's all that Green Party's in there for. They're not actually there to win anything. They're just there to like get some votes to like make sure that Green Party doesn't win. But like, no, not Green Party. To make sure that the Conservative doesn't win. So like, that's all the Green Party's there for. They don't have like a real thing. They don't. They know that they're not gonna win. They're just there to like be like, yeah, Doug Ford bad, bro. But like they will pretend as if they are gonna win. But like
1
they
minute
aren't.
to answer. Mike Schreiner, I'll start with you
And
this
they could
time.
grow. So like
Groceries,
technically,
rent,
they,
and
it's a
mortgage
good
payments have
idea.
all gone up for many people, and yet also for many people, salaries have not kept up. What will you do to help ease what is for many people a daily struggle?
Yeah, times are tough right now. I hear it every
Yes.
day. And unfortunately, in Ontario right now, the rich insiders are getting richer,
Right.
and the rest of us are just struggling to get by. Rent.
Mm.
Nobody on a full-time minimum wage can afford rent anywhere in Ontario. Food bank use is at an all-time high, up 78% just in the last 2 years. And it's not fair that Mr. Ford has handed out $200 checks to millionaires and billionaires like Galen Weston, the guy gouging you at the grocery store, when so many people can't afford to even pay for groceries. That's why the Ontario Greens are saying we will lower taxes for low and middle income earners, saving them $1,700 a year and asking the wealthiest to pay a bit more. We'll end gouging at the grocery stores, and we'll actually start building rental homes that you can afford.
Okay, because you've mentioned Doug Ford's name, he has an opportunity for 30 seconds to respond.
Well, you know, Mike and the other two folks on the stage, this is where we fundamentally disagree. See, Mike looks at that as that $200, and so do my other two colleagues. It's their money. That's what they believe. It is the government's money. Well, let me tell you, folks, it's your money. That's what you paid into. And when we saw more revenue come up to the coffers, we believe that it goes back to the people to stimulate the economy, to go out and you might be able to do something you might otherwise not be able to do. We believe in giving back taxes.
All right, that is time.
You guys believe in keep charging taxes.
Doug Ford, thank you very much. I'll turn to Marit Stiles on the original question. What will you do to help alleviate the cost of living?
Well, first of all, you know, you mentioned rent. Rent in Ontario is up 38%, right? Let that sink in. 38% across the province.
Let that sink in. From now on, I will actually sad. It's sad that whenever someone says "let that sink in," I remember the Elon Musk clip, which is kind of funny. People say that it's not that funny. I still find it kind of funny, where it goes like, I don't like Elon, but like that is kind of funny. That it's like, let that sink in, and it brings the sink into Taylor headquarters. That was kind of
Province on
funny.
average since 2018. That's amazing. And it's not just in cities like Toronto, it's in every community across this province. We are seeing that. I have a plan to not only bring back rent control, but also keep more money in your pocket by bringing in a grocery rebate program. And I think it's really essential because people need that now. What that means is that every month you're going to get a check back that covers some of the costs, money back in your pocket, and you can spend that on food. And we're also going to fix the problem of price gouging by all of these grocery CEOs with a consumer watchdog. It's about time we did that. And one thing I can tell you is you're going to get about a check for about $120 for a family of 4 back every month. And let me tell you, I am not going to be giving a $200 check to Galen Weston.
All right, Marit Stiles, thanks very much.
Let's go.
To Doug Ford to have your core response to the question, what will you do to help ease the cost of living?
Well, this is where we fundamentally disagree. Fundamentally.
Yeah, please.
You know, we're the only government
Yeah, I get
in
you.
the history of Ontario that's never raised taxes. We've seen more revenues come up because of
But
the
like that-
climate and the conditions for companies to invest. Now, these three, they'd bring back the gas tax. And I know they've admitted it, that they're going to bring it back. They'd bring back the one fare that saves people $1,800. They'd bring back the tolls on the 412 and 418. They'd bring back the tolls on the 407 that we just ended up getting rid of. And the difference is, I don't believe in taxing people, and I will never take money out of your pockets. They believe it's their money. There's never been a tax they don't like or a toll they don't want to hike. That's the difference between myself and my three folks on the stage here.
Okay, we do have a debate coming up momentarily to talk about this very issue.
That's a diss, but it's the thing is, the answer was the question was prices are going up. What will you do to help? And then he says, what I'm gonna do is complain. I'm just gonna answer the question. This is how I'm gonna answer the question. They want to tax you more, which technically would make the cost of living higher slightly if they do tax us more. But if the other person reduces prices, the taxes won't be that bad. Hear me out. The taxes won't be that bad. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Let's just keep going.
On cost of living.
Let me just ask you at home, is your life more affordable today than it was 7 years ago? I bet the answer to that is no, because I hear from people everywhere I go. They can't afford to even buy their groceries and pay their rent in the same month. And it's a really cold February, and they're using a lot of money paying for heating bills. I'm not okay with that, people in food banks. After 7 years of promises, we got nothing. We got no action. You were promised a tax cut, but you never got it. Here's what I'll do with Ontario Liberals. I'm going to cut your taxes. Yes, your income tax, and you'll pay 22% less on the first $75,000. I'll also take the HST off your home heating and your hydro bills, and I will build homes that are more affordable because we're going to take off those hidden taxes, and there will be no tax on carbon. You can take my word for it. We will double the ODSP for people living with disabilities. We'll also phase in rent controls, and we're going to look at auto insurance premiums because they're out of check.
Bonnie Crombie, thanks.
Respect. She came out with swinging. She said no carbon tax. No. Oh, no. She just threw everything. She was like, nah, I'm gonna put everything. Doug Ford said, like, they tax you too much. She said, nah, I'm gonna remove taxes. He said he was gonna give you a tax cut. I'm gonna remove the tax. I'm gonna remove this tax and this tax and this tax and all of them. 22% less, all 75,000. Taxes, tax. Remove the tax. I can remove.
Crombie, thanks very much. I'll turn to Margaret Stiles as we turn to the open debate portion of this. And I'll kick things off just with a question. Do you believe a tax cut is the best way to make people's lives more affordable?
No, as I said, our plan is to bring in a grocery rebate program because we think that, like, look, since 2018, no question, groceries have gone out through the roof, right? So we have an opportunity, but we also have a real offer for Ontarians, right? That will actually put money in your pocket so that you can afford food again. But look, more than that, we've got to stop the price gouging by these grocery giants. And under Doug Ford and the Conservatives, we have seen again and again that they favor those big companies over regular people.
Okay, I can see Mike Schreiner wants to get in.
I want to ask a question really directed to Doug Ford. The three of us have all said we would double ODSP rates.
Yes.
People are living in legislated poverty. And I'm wondering if Mr. Ford thinks it's okay in a province as wealthy as Ontario that people would be forced to live in legislated poverty on $1,300 a month when average market rent in this province is $1,600 a month and over $2,000 in Toronto. How can we sleep at night knowing that people with disabilities can't even afford to pay the bills?
Bonnie Crombie, I can see you want to get in. Doug Ford, did you want to respond to that?
Well, I'll respond quickly. Under ODSP, we've actually increased it based on the rate of inflation. It's gone up since 2022, 17%. That's what we've done. But you can't pay people on ODSP if you don't have an economy. And all you three believe in is
this guy falls back on the economy every single time. And I diss it. Sometimes I diss it. But like at the same time, he's not wrong. Because like you can't do it without the economy. But at the same time, the economy right now is not really favoring the people. It's going, the people that are big keep getting more money, and the people that are low get less money. It's just the way the thing's working right now. Like, maybe you can switch that. But your responses right now have not told me that that's going to switch. I think you are actually saying that that's the way that you're going to maintain it. You're saying.
It's simple. Just
Give me
tax
the
the
buck.
people to death.
Give me
Tax
the buck.
companies to death. We saw what you
Doug,
did.
listen,
And no, it's my,
seven-
my opportunity to get in.
7 years ago.
No, I think it's my
I walked
opportunity
into a
to get in.
bankrupt province because you lost 300,000 jobs. You tax businesses. You tax people.
Hey, Doug,
Okay,
you
Doug
promised.
Ford, Bonnie Crombie.
Hey,
more
Doug, you
people
promised
working
7
today
years.
than there
Doug,
was
you
7
promised
years
7
ago.
years ago that you would cut our taxes.
I'll tell you what
didn't
I've
get it
done.
done, Doug. You didn't
find
cut
it-
our
I find
taxes.
it, Rick.
I am the only leader on this platform
you're not.
today
No, you're
that
not.
is committed to cutting taxes.
I've committed
And
to
with
cutting
my plan-
taxes. I've committed to cutting taxes
And with my
on low and
plan-
middle income families.
With my plan, people will take
can I
home
just-
one.
This is crazy. When you think of this, that every single person except the NDP, because NDP is always NDP, but like except NDP is being like, guys, I'm going to taxes. I'm going to cut taxes. Like I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Also, Green Party, once again, because you're not getting voted in. Stop pretending as if you are.
Just go back to
$1,150
Almost-
every year, not a one-time
Okay.
$200 check, Doug, which is great this month. You can pay your rent,
Jump in
you
here
can
for a
buy
minute, David?
groceries, but what about next month?
I almost-
What does that $200 check do for
We have
people
45
next
seconds
month?
remaining.
If I can get a word in edgewise here, but I almost fell off the stage here, David, when Bonnie Crombie said she'll cut taxes. When she was mayor, she raised taxes every year, raised the
My tax
garbage
increases were
tax,
the same as
raised
yours.
the water tax,
Same as
raised
yours
property
in
taxes
Toronto.
every year. Matter of fact, at one time, Mississauga was well run until Bonnie came along.
Okay. Doug
can I
Ford,
just jump
I
in
know
here for a
Merit
second?
Stiles wants to
I'd
get
just
back
I'd
to
like to ask another
goodness.
question, Doug. I
know,
feel like, we've talked a lot about, you're talking about your little things, but listen, $2.2 billion that you're spending right now to subsidize a luxury spa in downtown Toronto, that's $400 per household in Ontario. Do you think you could maybe
He hasn't dissed it. He hasn't responded to it. That's a diss that has stuck. Like it's like what Kamala do? I think I remember it. Like Kamala, that debate. The more that you think about that debate, it was more of a just like, I'm gonna insult you. This has been more of a like actually policy wise, but like the other one, that Kamala versus Trump one, it was like I'm just gonna debate, and then he then shows up and says they're eating the dog, they're eating the cats. Like that's like that was basically what that was. But like this one is like actual promising, it's quite nice actually. I really I respect it. Sorry, Doug Ford, that you're just stuck in a position that you don't want to be in.
you could maybe cancel that so that people in Ontario won't be subsidizing a luxury spa?
True.
Get this one?
You get the we've run out of
Can I
time,
ask
but
you one
I'll give you
thing?
the chance to
We have
respond.
cut over $10,000 of taxes. Why did any of you
Where?
not vote for it? Because you don't.
He won't
believe in
respond.
taxes.
Aye.
Thank God we have,
Okay.
Mayor Carolyn Parrish.
I will have
in
to,
Mississauga.
I'll have to
She's
stop it
done
there.
more.
I'll have to stop it there. I'll have to stop it there. Unfortunately, we are out of time just for this particular segment, but we have many more to come, including public safety. You have 1 minute each for your answer. And a reminder, if you make a claim in this section about one of your opponents in your answer, we do have to give that person uninterrupted
15
time
seconds.
to
15
respond.
seconds to
And
that. 30
now
seconds, 30
I
seconds.
turn to Doug Ford with a question about youth crime. Teenagers are being arrested in smash and grab robberies, in car theft, and in some cases,
I got
murder.
arrested yesterday.
What will you do?
I did not get arrested for murder. I did not get arrested at all, actually.
Deal with youth crime?
Well, first of all, we led the way on bail reform. I don't believe that no matter if it's a 17-year-old or a 22-year-old, that should get a slap on the wrist when they kick in the door and put a gun to someone's head or, unfortunately, murder someone. I don't believe in that. I believe in throwing them in jail. I believe in hiring tough judges and justices of the peace because we've seen this happen, and nothing frustrates our great police officers more than this. They arrest someone, throw them in the cruiser, and the guy in the back is saying, I'll be out before your end of your shift. And guess what? He gets out because of the weak policies that Bonnie Crombie and the Liberals, federal Liberals, it's catch and release. Let little Johnny out 10 times on bail to recommit the exact same crimes. I don't believe in that. I believe in making sure they stay in jail and there's consequences when you start terrorizing neighborhoods. And that's what we're seeing in Toronto and the GTA. We're investing in our police like they've never seen before.
All right, Doug Ford, thank you very much.
Bro, Doug Ford is being massacred in this debate, bro. But like at the same time, crime is always an interesting one because like I don't even know where I stand on crime. Because like on crime, I think yeah, people should be punished for what they do, but at the same time, nah. Yeah, I stand with Doug Ford is actually on the right on this one. I stand with Doug Ford on this. But let's see what they say.
Said your name, Bonnie Crombie, so I'll give you 30 seconds to respond to that, and then 60 seconds on the question of what you'll do to respond to
Let me also say how proud I am of my record in the city of Mississauga and people electing me with 78% of the vote because I created jobs. I brought in investment.
Yep, hello lol, I am from Ontario and I'm back in Ontario at the moment. So I have to do the Ontario party stuff because the election's in 2 days. So like that's the way that the world works. And yeah, so I'm from Ontario and I'm going to vote for the first time in 2 days. 2 days, so like that works with me. And no, this guy's crazy.
Investment. I brought in, I set us up for growth and economic development. And I'm very proud of that. But you know what? Something in Ontario has changed. People just don't feel safe anymore. They lock their doors. They put their cars inside their garages because we see carjackings and break-and-enters and home invasions.
I just want my car to not get I want it, but at the same time, I do get
like we've never seen before in the past 7 years. Under this government, things have gotten out of control. Yes, we will be hard on crime, but I will also tackle the causes of crime because we need to invest more in our youth and get them invested into programs.
And on the core question,
oh, it's me, my turn?
Yeah, no, that I think we've covered it there. So we can shift on now to Mike Schreiner on this question around.
Don't I get 30 seconds?
You did get 30 seconds.
Oh,
yeah.
I
thought you were finished.
No,
if you're not done,
not at all.
Please go ahead.
Not at all. Let me say that things have really changed.
Classic Canadian response right there. That's how you know she's Canadian. That's how you like. That's just the way. That's just the way you know. Like it's just like that. No. That was
Ontario.
And I respect
it just
that.
doesn't feel safe here anymore whatsoever. Violent crime is on the increase. We see carjackings and break-and-enters and people breaking into your home to steal your car keys so they can steal your car. An increase of 350%. That's crazy. People are afraid to ride the subway. Families are afraid to walk through the park because they're going to step on needles. So despite all the talk you're hearing, things are actually a lot worse. If you want safer streets, you'll have to vote for an Ontario Liberal government. We'll crack down on crime, but we're also going to invest in the causes of crime, like specialized courts to throw the book at repeat offenders. We're going to be really tough on repeat offenders, including those criminals and those carjackers. We need to do this. We can't sit back. You know, David,
this is interesting. Like Canadian politics has kind of switched because now what it is conservatives being like, guys, the Liberal Party is the enemy of all the wrong, is the enemy of everything. And then the Liberal Party going like, we did do some things wrong, but not saying it directly. So like this one is like, oy. That's so sad. That's so sad, bro. Also, where is that? Like, where is not? Like, bro, I didn't know that place existed in Canada. Nanuet. I hope it gets better but according to Bonnie Crombie, you need a Ontario Liberal government to fix the things. But like, yeah, like I was saying, Canadian politics has changed up a bit. So like now it's not really two sides against each other. It's more one side is just saying that the other side is terrible. The other one is actually putting things forward. Who knows? But like the other side is kind of just stealing. Like the other guy, he said I'm gonna put people in jail. The other one was like, I'm gonna put people in jail. So there's no difference. The only thing is that she added on top that she's gonna help with causes of crime, which is kind of admirable. But I don't know if she's right, if she's lying. That's the only thing. See, that's why when you add extra things, when you're not just repeating the opposite, I don't believe you as much because like you're doing extra, and I don't know if you're gonna do the extra.
I hope to be a grandma very soon. I had 2 kids get married this summer, and I
Grade
don't want my
11 hit
grandchildren
different.
living in Doug Ford's Ontario.
Bonnie Crombie, thank you very much. Mike Schreiner, your opportunity to respond to the question around youth crime.
Yeah, Mr. Ford talks about bail reform. That's a federal issue. I would suggest he look in the mirror at the fact that 80% of people in provincial jails right now in Ontario are awaiting trial. One of the reasons people who are accused of crimes are getting off is because there's so many delays in the Ontario courts that they get out because of that. And now Mr. Ford wants to make it even worse by criminalizing people who are experiencing homelessness. We need to invest in housing people, not throwing them in jail.
This guy is dissing. This guy is dissing. He's still not going to win though. But this is this.
We need to invest in treating people with mental health and addictions challenges, not threatening to throw them in jail. People need public services. That's what a caring Ontario looks like. That's what fighting for fairness looks like. Ontario Greens will put care over crime.
That is time. I will.
Not bad. He even has a good slogan. He's still gonna lose. He's not gonna win. He's not. How many seats do they have? How many seats? Imagine they're the second biggest country, the party, and then I'm just being like really bad. Yo. How many do they have? They have only one member. Forget it. Forget it. Yep. Sorry, guys. You are still having there's no way. There's absolutely no way. There's no way. Thank you very much. I knew that you weren't going to have anything, and I am right. I am still right. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, let's keep going. Let's
I
keep
will
going.
turn to Doug Ford because his record has
I was
challenged on 2 occasions.
thank
I'll
you.
give you 30 seconds.
Well, thank you so much. As the Liberals were closing jails, we're building jails. As the Liberals and NDP
Wow.
were getting rid of our police, we're hiring more
Oh.
police. Actually, over 2,000 more police officers through our colleges, and we're paying for their education. Yes, I believe in making sure we hold people accountable. You know, I find it ironic.
I just realized I haven't done my Duolingo. Let's go. Let's go, people. We're going to do some Duolingo. Respect it. Respect the grind. Respect the grind, guys. Respect the grind. We gotta do Duolingo. We gotta do it. We gotta do about our Duolingo. Sorry, guys. Sorry. We'll get back to the stuff once we get past Duolingo. Let's do it. Let's geography. Let's go. I haven't done my Duolingo. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Activité.
Thank you very much. That was his in his
Sac.
cahier.
Cahier.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And then we have 1, 2. Sorry, guys. I need to do Duolingo. Sorry, guys. Sorry. It just has to be done. It just has. I can't lose my streak, bro. I can't lose my streak. I can't lose my streak, bro. I can't lose my streak. It's just the way that it just has to be. It just has to be done, guys. Like realize these things. Where is the woman? Yeah, there you go. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for understanding. I respect that you guys. I respect.
7.
Thanks to this
Excellent.
excellent.
Part.
There you go. Ah, Bruno. Ho, ho, ho. That's just hurting so. I almost did it. I almost got it right, but I didn't.
Le prof ne comprend rien.
Let's go. Le prof ne comprend rien. I tried it. I tried, guys. I tried. But let's keep. Prompt. No.
Je ne comprends jamais les exercices de ce prof.
Je ne comprends jamais l'exercice de ce prof. Thank you. Do Chinese? Nah. I need to learn one language at a time, my friend.
Difficile. Leçon
non.
Est ce que il comprend cette leçon de grammaire.
Je comprends.
Comprendre.
Cette leçon. Précise.
Il apprend toutes ces leçons.
Boom.
Excellent. Apprenne.
Okay, and then we have X's. Taiwanese. There's a difference there, and I respect that. I think the difference is one is traditional and one is simplified. I don't remember which one it is, but so one is, I think Taiwan uses traditional Mandarin, and then the other one uses well, that's the way that this is. And let's go. Did it. Thank you guys for watching that. Let's get back to political coverage.
You, Bonnie, are saying about the police. You said on tape that you're scared of the police. And as for you, Merritt, your own members want to defund the police.
All right.
Like, who wants to defund the police except the NDP?
And that
Only
is,
your group.
that is time. Not in this response. It's tricky keeping it all straightened out. But Marit Stiles, this is your opportunity to respond to, what was our original question? Youth crime.
Youth crime. Yeah, thank you for that, David. And I will start talking to youth and about youth because that was the question. And look, I mean, really, if we want to address a rise in youth crime, we need to invest in our schools, make sure they are full of caring, qualified adults to teach and provide lots of youth programs and community support. But look, I mean, there's no question. We know this, that everyone deserves to feel safe. And a lot of people are seeing a rise in theft, like auto theft in our communities. People are worried for their safety. I know, I hear it a lot. On this issue, my priority is always going to be taking care of people. And that means, as I just mentioned, taking care of young people. It also means ensuring that people with addictions get the health care support they need, people who are living in encampments and homeless get housing. But look, we need to fix our court system. And right now it is so backlogged that it means that dangerous people are falling through the cracks, and many others who deserve their day in court aren't getting it. We need to fix that, and that's an issue that the provincial government can.
Oh yeah, this is smart. These guys are smart, bro. Because like the way that it started off with puts people in jail. Then the Green Party was like, bro, that's a federal issue. Put people in jail, bail reform. It's like, bro, that's a federal issue. We don't have that. We don't have jurisdiction here. Why are you blaming? Why are you blaming the liberals? The Liberal Party, the federal Liberal Party. When am I talking about? Ontario, and then they just started shakara, beating him up. The Liberal Party actually gave the worst answer in this question because, like, everyone else won, like, courts. She went. Like, did she say courts too? I don't know if she said courts. I don't have time to go back. But like,
that is time. You're all slinging things at each other, so it seems like
True.
a perfect opportunity to have an open debate. You can all jump in, but I'll start with Bonnie Crombie on this instant. Violent crimes up. What do we do?
You know what I think is really important, that we have a dedicated bail court for repeat offenders, so they are dealt with harshly and right away. This is the problem, the catch and release, and this is something that Doug has done 7 years to deal with and has done nothing about. We also need a plan for people who are of addictions, not just use a notwithstanding clause to get them off the streets. There's no plan on where to put them and give them the treatment that they
we
need.
haven't really talked about here at all are victims. And, you know, as I was saying in my response earlier, what we're seeing right now is because of the backlog in our courts, we're seeing the dangerous folks get out. Innocent folks actually can end up behind bars for far too long, but cases are being thrown out under the conservative government of Doug Ford. And of course, many others are not getting the justice that they deserve, including, by the way, victims of gender-based
Just about to
violence.
say something, but she didn't get to, so it just looked like
I've talked about this a number of times, but I want to make sure we remember that there are victims involved here too. This government cut back on the Victims' Compensation Fund. They have failed to declare intimate partner violence an epidemic. And again, you know, he always wants to talk about throwing people in jail. I want to talk about how we actually prevent that in the first place, as well as making sure that people actually get their day in court, which you're not seeing under the current
we've only got about a minute left, so I'll turn to this
One of the
side.
ways we prevent people from being thrown in jail in Ontario right now, with the government saying they want to actually criminalize homelessness, it's just horrible. Like, we're better than this. We need to build a caring Ontario. It's a crisis of caring if the government's going to say we're going to criminalize homelessness. Let's house people. 93% of the deeply affordable homes built in Ontario were built before 1995. 3 decades of underinvestment. That's why we have 81,000 people experiencing homelessness.
I do want to give Doug Ford an
1995 is crazy. That's like 3 governments ago. Wild, bro. 3 governments ago is crazy.
Said no to solving that, and now they say they want to criminalize homelessness. Come on, we're better than this.
Well, we've invested into our police like no other. $75 million into guns and gangs. We're buying more helicopters. We're getting more boots on.
Bro's investing into guns and gangs. Wild. Wild, bro. Bro said 20 million to guns and gangs. Wild.
Judges, over 25 judges.
Crime is up.
Too many gangs, bro. Bro said he invested 20 million to guns and gangs. He said that. There was a mistake. He did make a mistake in saying that, but like he did say he invested 20 million in guns and gangs.
Sentences. None
Let's
of them
listen to
believe
it.
in mandatory sentences.
No, that's actually not.
Paul in the backlog. But do you know what the problem is? Do you know why there's helicopters are getting more boots on? $75 million into guns and gangs.
75 million into guns and gangs. Wild, good. Wild.
Buying more helicopters. Are getting more boots on the.
Why do we need helicopters for? What do we need helicopters for? I guess just car chasing.
We've hired.
Because I want to be able to do the Kai thing where he looks at the thing and then you're looking. But that's news helicopters. I need. Yeah. If I, but then depending, because I want to be able to do the Kai thing and I'll be like, if you are on the stream, turn left. If you're on the stream, turn left. Turn left again. Turn left again. Well, that would be kind of fun to watch. Doesn't mean that I would not obey. Would that get me in trouble? Possibly. But like, who knows?
We've hired more judges, over 25 judges.
Crime is up.
We've hired more prosecutors.
Only 25
judges. But do you know what the problem is? Do you know why there's a little bit of a backlog? Because your catch and release policies, you don't believe in mandatory sentences.
That's not how backlog goes. That's not how backlog works. If I have a tissue box and then I put all the tissues on the floor, if every single I put one, I throw it away, it's not gonna have much backlog because it's like like that's not backlog. That's just catch and release. Catch and release. Catch and release makes nothing. They're like this. They're easy. No backlog.
sentences. None of them believe in mandatory sentences.
No, that's actually
They
not
catch
true.
What
That's
is
not what
mandatory
it is.
sentence?
and they're back on the street and they're kicking down another door. I don't want those people kicking down doors.
criminalize
I
our-
want those
Honestly,
people
Doug.
in jail.
Doug,
That's
you've
what I
been in
want
power
to do.
for 7 years. You haven't done
7 years. You haven't done anything. I want to say
Talk
something.
to the police.
I'd like to.
Very simple.
I'd like to
Folks,
know
when
what
you
our
see a
plan
police
is.
officer, please go up to him and say,
Thank you.
has the PC government supported you?
Oh my goodness.
Or has the previous
All right,
government?
Meanwhile,
we
you
do
cut
have to wrap.
previous-
Or we
I'm going to find out. I'm going to find. No, I don't have. Election.
can't do any of our other
I know I have the
subjects,
support
so I'm
of the
going to keep
police,
moving on.
and I have your backs too.
We need
All
a
right.
plan for homeless people. They are our family members. It
Okay,
could have been
we're
my
moving on. We're
father.
moving on. Thank you very much. I'm glad to see everybody's as passionate as they are. I'm the referee. I got to keep us on
Yeah.
schedule here. We are
Respect
looking for a
you,
quick
Daniel.
answer in this next segment, a maximum of 30 seconds, and a yes or no will do. Mike Schreiner, I will turn to you. Would your government build housing on the Greenbelt?
No, we will
What's the Green Belt?
unlock housing that people can afford in the communities they know and love, instead of opening the Greenbelt for development, which would only benefit wealthy, well-connected insiders. That's why we have a housing crisis in Ontario. The priorities are wrong right now.
Bonnie Crombie, would you build housing on the Greenbelt?
Absolutely no. When I was chair of Big City Mayors, we made it very clear that we could accommodate the housing that was necessary, all within the municipal boundaries
No,
that
this
had
is-
existed. The mayors have a plan, and they would
Okay.
have stuck to it. Doug Ford told his donors that he would open.
Oh, we should go ahead this. Let's try it. Let's look at it.
And they would have stuck to it. Doug Ford told his donors that he would.
What happened there?
And they would have
Let's
stuck
look
to
at
it.
it.
Doug Ford told
Hold on. Let's see
the
it one more
mayors have
time.
a plan, and they would have stuck to it. Doug Ford
What happens to
told
us,
his
I
donors
guess.
that he would open up the Greenbelt, then he promised us he wouldn't, and then he went ahead and did it anyways. And of course, we pressured
good.
him to do the right thing and pull back.
All right, Merritt Stiles, the question is...
Well,
would
it's
you-
like, oh, I guess. I don't know what the green belt is. I'm assuming it's like just outside of the boundaries, and as such, you can't touch it because it's like environmental issues, so like indigenous connections. I assume
your
that's the,
government ever
that's
build
the
housing on the
situation, but-
Greenbelt?
Absolutely not. Look, Doug Ford and the
No one's saying
Conservatives
yes.
decided to
Someone's-
open
no
up the
one's saying
Greenbelt,
yes.
even though he said he wasn't going to do that.
Will she- will he say
I am
yes?
so
I don't
happy
know.
and proud to have stood up against that move and pushed them back on their heels, and we won alongside
Well, is he gonna
farmers
say yes or
and
no?
everybody
I-
else.
I
But
would-
look, our
would
farmland
assume he's
is
gonna
not up
say
for grabs. It is not up for grabs.
yes.
We have plenty of other
Oh, it's farmland.
opportunities and space within urban
Okay.
boundaries to build the housing we need.
So will he say
missing is a
no?
government that has the political will to build the truly
I
deeply
don't know if he's gonna
affordable
say.
housing
Will he say
that
no?
Ontarians deserve.
That is time. Merritt Stiles, thank you. Doug Ford, I'll turn to you. Would your government build housing on the Greenbelt?
No, and I think it was pretty clear. I said I was, then I wasn't, and I went ahead and did it. But in saying that,
Let's give him an opportunity to
you know
respond.
something, I apologize to the people. Unlike any of you, when you do something, you don't want to apologize. I apologize to the people. We're moving forward. We're building homes. I find it very rich that Bonnie Crombie say she builds homes. She built the least amount of homes in the entire province. Just compare to the new mayor. The new mayor's done more. Carolyn
And that's
Parrish has
time.
done more in 7 months than you did in 10 years. That's
right.
fact.
We'll leave it there. Doug Ford, thank you very much. Now, all of the leaders here have made many pledges and policy announcements. Perhaps you've heard them over the last few weeks. Here are some of them.
Going to build
Yay.
the 401 Express Tunnel. It will be the largest tunnel in the entire world.
Well, first of all, we would cancel Doug Ford's $2.2 billion subsidy to a foreign-owned mega spa.
The Ontario NDP will end encampments by supporting people and helping them find a home to live in.
We have a plan that will cut personal income taxes, that will cut small business taxes, and will eliminate the
Let's see the people behind it. Let's see
We will
behind the
cancel
people behind
Express
them.
Tunnel. It will be
Bro looks. Wait, where is he? I'm thinking of. What kind of factory? Okay.
the
okay.
largest tunnel in the entire world.
Well, first, a
We got a
foreign-owned
tunnel. Then we got Green Party with a green car behind him and
mega spa.
snow.
The Ontario
Canadian
NDP
experience. And we got someone with a mask. We got like things like that. In Ontario flag, I'm assuming, or like some kind of flag in the background there, and an okay sweater background. You know,
We have
not
a
bad.
plan.
And we have this one that is like feels the most contributed. I guess it's just like you figure out what's going on here, and that's just the way it is. I Heart Ontario for the Liberal is not bad, not bad. Not bad of a slogan, just kind of wild in the way that it's shaped.
A
But
plan that will cut personal income taxes, that will cut small business taxes, and will eliminate the HST off home heating and hydro.
Okay, you've heard the promises. Now let's talk about the plan, and we'll do that with Global News' Colin DeMello. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, David.
Colin, as many people will know, is the president of the Queen's Park Press Gallery, so we're glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, and hello to all of the candidates. Good to be with you today. I'm here to ask you some questions on specific policies.
Colin DeMello. 6'7". I just missed it.
You have been presenting to voters. You will have limited time, just 1 minute to answer, so we ask you to please talk about your policies and not that of your rivals.
After each answer, another one of you will have the opportunity to ask a follow-up question and then debate back and forth. We've randomly selected who will be asking that follow-up.
We will begin with Progressive Conservative leader Doug Ford. You have promised to build a tunnel under Highway 401, but you have not done a feasibility study or said what it will cost. Why should taxpayers give you a blank check?
Well, we know all 400 series highways are going to be maxed out in 10 years. You know, as the folks on the stage here, they don't believe in building highways. They said they're against the 413. They're against the Bradford bypass. They're against the tunnel. You know, they're against everything to build. So I guess my question to all three of them is, where's the traffic going to go? You know, Mike, you say, let's put it on the 407. What are you going to do in 10 years when it's maxed out? You say, put the trucks on there. Talk to the trucking association. They don't want it. We're going to invest in transportation. And the only way we can invest in transportation is by having a strong economy. And all three of you have failed the economy. You don't believe in creating new jobs because
I don't like roads. Just saying this. I don't like roads. So when he says he builds highways, I want a train. I want metros all across the world. I want Montreal to look like it's a puny spot. I want it to look terrible in comparison to the great Ontario. But he wants it to be Los Angeles, which has the worst driving in the entire world. But it has so many roads, bro. Too many roads. Brother, please just give us public transit.
Because to create new jobs, you have to have tax incentives. You have to put money back into the businesses' pockets to invest in their people, into their technology, into infrastructure, and put money back into people's pockets. That's the difference. Fundamental difference between myself creating jobs and them chasing 300,000 jobs out of our province.
Time. Doug Ford, thank you very much. This is where Colin and I get to pass off the who gets to ask a question. And Bonnie Crombie, you now have the power to ask a follow-up.
As soon as I saw her smiling, I knew she was going to get it. But like, why?
Thank you, Doug.
Her smiling's
Doug,
kind
I
of
have one
wild. I
question
don't like it.
for you, and one question only.
Well, she's had the best disses in this entire thing. She's about to fire another good one.
After 7 years of lies, why should anyone trust a word you say?
Well,
that was a sad diss. That was not good. And the reason why it's not good is because even though it's true, he's been lying for 7 years. He gets an easy pass by saying that I'm not lying.
First of all, action speaks louder than words. And
see, it doesn't. His actions, he has some actions that he can fall back on. And that's why the question is not good. The answer you should be going is to be like, will you use that tunnel for public transit? And then he'll be like, no, because I think public transit is bad. And then you get an ultimate clip there. You have a clip that you can just use and just scour him. But now he gets a clip to brag.
$200 billion on infrastructure, no matter if it's $50 billion worth of hospitals or $28 billion in building roads and highways, or $70
Doug, you
billion
put us
in
into
building
an extra
transit.
$100 billion
See,
of debt. How does any one government spend $100 billion and pay a 2.5 million people still don't have a family
That's the
doctor?
difference between
Doug,
I believe.
Tunnel. How dumb is that, Doug?
See, that's why you should have given him a better diss. A better diss would be a pointed diss. That was not a diss. That was a diss that you put in a commercial, in an ad, where you go, "How can we live with 7 years of lies?" And you just keep going with the commercial. But like, this is not the way you do it.
Investing in infrastructure.
Okay, let's give him a chance to answer the
I
actual
believe
question.
in building infrastructure. Under the Liberals and NDP, there was nothing built. There was no subways. We're building the largest subway extension in all of North America. We're building.
Respect. He wants to build subway. And he's not talking about the, what do they call that thing? This restaurant. He's talking about actual subway. And respect that.
Building highways and roads and bridges, because
I do not care about roads. Bridges, maybe. But roads. I'm not that kind of civil engineer. Not that kind of. I like bridges.
we know one thing. There's $56 billion that's costing our economy every single year.
Doug, this tunnel.
An opportunity to
Thank you.
And we're going to
Doug,
get people
this tunnel
from
is
point
a
A to point
fantasy.
B.
This is a fantasy project.
So is our subway,
it is
right?
a 40-year project. It won't be built in my lifetime. It will not alleviate any.
Bro, can't build it in 40 years. 40 years. That's Nigeria timescales, bro. That's Nigeria timescales. You don't want Nigerian timescales.
Any congestion. It will bankrupt the province at $150 billion. There are alternatives. Why don't you invest in the alternatives? Why don't you invest more in public transit? There's an alternative highway parallel. The 427 could be leveraged. Truck-only lanes on the 407. Doug, this is a fantasy that would bankrupt our province. No one believes you. You make other promises, and you don't get it done, Doug.
That marks time for us. I'll turn back to Colin now.
Thank you very much. Our next question is to Green Party leader Mike Schreiner. So you have promised to scrap the current plans to redevelop Ontario Place. What would you propose to do with that land instead?
Well, first of all, I think it is a huge mistake and an insult to the people of Ontario that the government is subsidizing a foreign-owned spa at the tune of $2.2 billion, privatizing public space. Ontario Place is for the people of Ontario. It's public space that should be publicly available. And unfortunately, the current government has torn down all the trees, and now they want to subsidize it. Imagine what an insult it is and how unfair it is to people across the province saying, I can't afford a home. Hospitals are closing in my community. We can't get access to a family doctor. And this government is subsidizing a foreign-owned spa at the tune of $2.2 billion. That is not what the people of Ontario want. They deserve better. They deserve fairness. That's exactly what the Ontario Greens are fighting for.
They may be all they like, but like the conservative guy is on a 3-on-1, and like he has connection with the Liberal Party. Like they're almost on the same. They're like their solutions are quite similar on a few of the issues. Most they're still like diametrically opposed in some ways. But I don't know, how did the Liberal Party steal the cutting taxes though? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, why don't you just have one random tax that you can just give?
Mike Schreiner, thank you. I'll turn now to Doug Ford. You get a follow-up question. I would ask that you begin it with a question.
Well, first of
Let's
all,
go.
you know, we're building a world-class destination. We're going to see over 5 to 6 million people go there. And under the Liberals and NDP and the Greens, they let it deteriorate. It was just, you know, dandelions coming up and everything else. And we're going to build an amphitheater that's going to attract millions of people. We're going to have 50 acres of public realm that you have to be more informed, Mike, because you didn't even know that.
Question?
50 acres. We're going to build a destination, the most popular destination in the entire province. And all these people, ironically, they're going to show up. We're going to build a new science center. They're all showing up.
That represents time there. Well, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Was there a question?
There was no question there, folks. Let's be clear. There was no question there because nobody.
That's me. I do the no question there. There was no question there. But you don't steal my quip. That's my quip there. That there was no question, but they were saying that already, so I didn't even say it. I didn't even say it, bro. I continue to diss this guy. I keep dissing this guy because I diss him. I don't like him. Why? Because he's not gonna win. We need winners in this country. We need winners, god damn it. Respect. Sorry, Lord. Sorry enough for that. I'm sorry. It was part of the character. It was playing. But that's beside the point. We're almost 2 hours in, and we're halfway through the video. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Why you would waste $2.2 billion subsidizing a foreign-owned spa. If it's such a great destination, why are Ontario taxpayers on the hook for this? When our kids are learning in overcrowded classrooms, people can't afford homes, rural hospitals are closing, people can't find...
I keep dissing this guy, but then the disses he throws at Doug Ford are just crazy. And then Doug Ford just having the... You can't even touch him with the disses are just hitting his face. He's just like, no. He's like, wow. It's wild. I don't know why he's so good at it. He's just so good. Just looking with that smug smile. And I don't like his smug smile. So like, it's not good.
$2 billion on this mega spa in downtown Toronto. It's the same kind of waste that the tens of billions that you're spending
who cares?
On this fantasy tunnel that will create traffic chaos in Toronto. I want to build things, but I want to build things that make sense for the people of Ontario, like homes they can afford.
I do want to give Doug Ford an opportunity to respond.
Well, first of all, let's address this tunnel, and it's going to be one of the largest tunnels in the world. And I know, I understand. You believe in bike lanes and riding bikes and planting trees. I get it, and you're good at that. So, but the problem is you won't be able to afford the trees because the economy will go down the tube with all three of you. We're going to continue building transit.
This guy's diss is not. It's the same old. The other guys have complicated disses. They still like they're. I'm not leaving it for the benefit of a doubt. I'm leaving it to the benefit of the doubt or whatever. That like he could be lying. They could be lying in all of their disses, but at least they have different disses. They'll be like, you're trying to criminalize homelessness. You're spending money on this tunnel that shouldn't be spent on this tunnel. You're spending $2.2 billion on this thing that is not working on this spa that's foreign owned. This guy, his response is, three of them, they don't know how the economy works. They don't know how the economy. But technically, he's saying it in a gruff voice. He's going like, they don't know how to use the economy. The economy's gonna die under them. How? Why? I don't know. All I know is that it's gonna die under the three of them liberals in the conscience, in the cultural sense, not the they're not all liberals because they have the Green Party and the NDP, which is worse than the Liberal Party, but like no need to say you get what I'm telling you. Because I'm a conservative, they're the liberals. Just like that's the differentiation. But yeah, he only has that one diss. Like that's the only diss he has. So that the economy is gonna go bad, and the economy has been, but the economy still hasn't been good under him. He's doing the vibe session thing. And if you don't know what the vibe session is when you have a situation where you're in a country, and the country in question. Wait, why is it saying that? Yeah, if you're in a country, in the U.S., under Biden during his campaign and Kamala would say that the economy is doing so much, it's doing so well, guys. It's doing so well. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better under me. After in my second term, in my first term for Kamala, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better, but it's already good right now. You're only feeling it bad because the vibes are just. It's because the Republicans are lying to you. They weren't. They were lying, but they weren't lying that the times were hard. That's it.
Transit, building infrastructure, getting people from point A to point B, and we're going to gain $56 billion on the economy instead of losing the.
Oh, another successful diss.
They're all great talkers, but none of them have solutions.
All right, and that is time. I'll turn back now to.
None of them have solutions. And then he gave another diss. Bro is living in La La Land.
There a question for NDP leader Marit Stiles. You have promised to end encampments. It is estimated that more than 80,000 Ontarians were homeless last year. What will your party do to end homelessness?
Well, first of all, I mean, the answer to homelessness is building homes. So
True.
The first thing that we announced as part of our big platform was Homes Ontario, which is where we get the government back in the business of finally building affordable, permanently affordable housing again. And you know, we had programs like that up until the mid-90s when the Liberals in Ottawa and here, the Conservatives here in Ontario canceled all of that. We'd be way...
It was under Conservative government. Sorry, bro.
We need to get back in the business of building in Ottawa and you know, we had programs like that up until the mid-90s when the Liberals in Ottawa and here, the Conservatives here in Ontario canceled all of that. We'd be way ahead right now if we still had those programs, but we don't because they canceled them. We need to get back in the business of building those permanently affordable homes. And really crucial in all of that is 60,000. So the 1.5 million homes, but 60,000 of those are supportive housing. And that's really important for a lot of the folks that we're talking about in our encampments right now. And let's be clear, there are encampments, there are homeless tent encampments in every corner of this province, in every community under this premier and his government. So we have to build supportive housing with wraparound support for people.
All right. And with that, we'll turn to Mike Schreiner with a follow-up question, please.
Yeah, I certainly support Ms. Stiles' plan to end encampments. We actually have to get back to building deeply affordable homes in this province.
See, all he has to do is make all the others look good. He doesn't have to make himself win. All he has to do is make sure that Doug Ford comes out of this debate the loser. And right now, we are halfway through, and I think he is. Doug Ford handedly lost this debate. If you're seeing otherwise, you're blind, deaf, and you should be a ref.
93% were built before 1995. The question I have for you, though, is do we need to create a whole other government bureaucracy to do that? I've talked to nonprofit and co-op builders who have said, why don't you just flow money to us and we'll get it built? That would be more efficient and effective to achieve our shared objective.
I'm happy to respond to that, Mike, and thank you for your support. You know, look, every other province except Ontario has an organization that manages this and that coordinates it. And that's what we will need. And that means absolutely working with builders, working with nonprofits, working with municipalities. And I'll say this, you know, our plan is built on the premise as well that we are going to provide a strong provincial partner. We're going to offer up provincial land where we can, right? To make sure we build that housing. But it's that partnership that's crucial. And I know you see it, and people out there see it all the time, that there's community organizations ready to go that want to build this housing, and yet no true provincial partner. So we need to show leadership. And at the provincial level, the NDP is ready to go, right? Again, every other province is doing this. We're not, and we're so far behind. And I would add as well that, you know, if we're going to move forward quickly enough, we have to get going right away. I'm going to start this within the first 100 days that we form government. And that means as well getting Ontario building again, because right now,
Ms. Stiles,
I would just add one other thing,
sure,
which is that Ontario, and you know this as well, of course, is like building less housing than anywhere else in the country right now. Our housing starts are down to 50s levels.
I agree with you. We need to get going right away. This is exactly why. Let's not create another bureaucracy to do it. We have a ministry in place. Let's just flow the money to the nonprofits and co-ops and permanent supportive builders so they can get
Respect,
going
actually.
right
Answer
away.
the
All right,
question.
that is time. Mike Turner, thank you very much.
Our next question is for Liberal leader
Not
Bonnie
a bad
Crombie.
idea.
Your party has promised to cut middle-income taxes for middle-income earners, but your plan doesn't actually cut taxes for anyone earning less than $50,000. What will you do to help lower-income Ontarians?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I really thank you for that because people are hurting right now. You know, I'm in the grocery store and I see moms picking up meat and putting it back down and going to the checkout aisle and holding their breath. So I thought, what can we do to make life more affordable for people? Yes, we're going to cut small business taxes, but we're going to cut income taxes for people earning $75,000 or less. And we're going to take the HST off home heating and hydro, and we're going to build homes that are more affordable. But for other folks entirely, we're doubling the ODSP for people who are living with disabilities. I believe in phased-in rent controls over a period of time.
She didn't answer the question. And now they're going to give it to Doug Ford.
And by the way, we're going to look at auto insurance premiums because they're out
Or is
of
it going to be
control.
Merit Styles?
So
Hopefully it's
overall,
Merit
my
Styles.
goal
If
is
it's
to cut
Doug
your
Ford, it's
taxes,
not going to be
grow
good.
the economy, much like I did in Mississauga, and I'm so proud
No,
of
because
my
Doug Ford
record in
already got his.
Mississauga, attracting investment, creating jobs, setting us up for growth,
Merit Styles is
and
going to
getting
attack
elected
this.
by large margins because I think the people of Mississauga had a lot of confidence in what I did to stimulate the economy and build jobs.
All right, thank you very much, Bonnie Crombie. Marit Stiles, you get the follow-up question to Bonnie Crombie.
Well, I'm going to take a slightly different tact. I heard a few things there that I think the liberal leader needs to read some of her own policy on this. But, you know, I wanted to go after another thing because what I'm finding increasingly as I go around the province is that people are paying out of pocket for healthcare, for actually things that we, you know, as Canadians believe should be absolutely free. You should be able to access healthcare when and where you need it, not out of pocket. And I was really shocked to see that the Liberal leader, that her party has received $25,000 in donations from private healthcare insiders.
Do you have a question?
And I'd like to know how she can stand here and say she's going to save healthcare, which, by the way, was created. Holloway Healthcare was created under the previous Liberal government. When she's receiving those kinds of donations from private healthcare providers.
Okay, we'll get.
Yeah, I think the NDP leader is envious of my fundraising record to date. I will say that the NDP thinks that money grows on trees. You know, you just can't promise everything to everyone all the time. That's just not a serious plan. It's not a serious plan. When I was the mayor of
Crombie has had her first major L. That's not what you answer when you're in Canada, bruh. That's not a good answer. That's not a good that's not a. You don't start it. I almost let the fundraising thing slide because you can make that. You can let that slide. That one you can. That one you can be like, oh, that did that.
mayor of Mississauga, I had to balance my budget. I never ran a deficit. I did that for the past.
Yeah, that you didn't even have to say it. Ouch, ouch. Because the question was like, she went on a very bad path
I
there.
balanced my books for 10 years, just like people have to do at home. They have to balance their budgets at home. They know that they have to save in bad times. That's the difference between me
I think I need to ask this question a little bit more clearly, maybe. You said that you are going to fix the healthcare crisis, that a previous Liberal government, I would argue, started the whole hallway healthcare crisis, right? You don't take responsibility for that, but you also will not take responsibility for the fact that you have collected $25,000 from private healthcare insiders at a time when we are seeing people literally having to pay out of pocket under Doug Ford's government for healthcare. You know,
That was bad. That was a bad answer.
Ontarians are
Let's see
very
if you
clear.
can
They do not
take it
want to
back.
head in that
Certainly,
direction.
we follow the rules to the T. Absolutely. And
So
I
why
have
are you
a plan
collecting
that will
donations
I have a
from
plan that will
private
invest $3 billion,
insiders?
not the 1.8 that the premier is going to
5
do.
seconds.
How do we know it's not
$3
gonna go
billion
to,
to
private
ensure that
healthcare?
everyone in Ontario
How do we
has
know
a
it's not
family
gonna go to
doctor.
private health?
That is my
time.
pledge.
That is time. Colin, thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Good to see you. Now, we asked some
Thanks, Colin. I'm glad that you were here, Colin. Colin Mello. 6, 7.
voters what issues they have not been hearing leaders talk about during the election campaign.
Car theft,
Yes, please.
crime on the streets, the drugs, and the guns. Never used to be like.
Doug Ford invested $75 million in guns and gangs. So, also nice glasses by hand there. I heard something walking that has a vibe. Wow, that's a good vibe. That's a good one.
The emergency, it's like hours and hours.
Do I know this place?
I'm talking from my own experience.
I think they need to talk about healthcare, and I think they need to talk about education so badly.
A lot of people are suffering here.
Education
There's
for
a
real.
situation with the food bank. That shouldn't be happening. This is Canada.
Well, for this next segment, Siobhan Morris joins us. She is the Queen's Park Bureau Chief for CTV News. Siobhan, hello.
Hello, thank you, David. Hello, candidates. I want to ask you some questions about things that are not in your platform. You'll have 1 minute to give us your position. There is no open debate in this section. We will begin with Marit Stiles. You have vocally criticized the government's closure of supervised drug consumption sites, but you've given no details about how you will respond to the addictions crisis. What is your plan?
Well, first of all, look, as I've traveled around the province, without question, addiction and mental health care crisis is rife. It is in every community, in every corner of this province, and it has certainly gotten much worse in the last 7 years. You go to Sudbury, for example, you see that corner with all the white crosses that was built by a woman who lost her son Miles to an overdose. The answer to addiction is healthcare. Right? That means that you do not take resources out of communities without actually putting back more and better resources. And that's not what we've seen under Doug Ford and the Conservative government. We saw them take away supports and not replace them. And I like the healthcare hub idea. That came from communities. But it is a drop in the bucket what Doug Ford and the Conservatives are proposing. It will not address the addiction crisis. When somebody needs help, they need it right away, not 2 months later, not a year later. They need it immediately.
That was a good answer because nobody cares about the supervised drug things. So that was a good answer because it just says random things that if you make into a clip, people will like it. It's a nice clip. It's a good clip. It's a good clip.
Thank you.
A lot of politics, if you want to know, a lot of politics in today's generation is clip farming. And that was a good clip. Do I need to break it down? Not really, because it's just the same thing. You need healthcare if you have addiction. That's the thing. Everybody knows that. But at least you know that she knows that. And that's what the clip is for.
The next question is for Doug Ford. You promised in 2018 to end hallway health care, but overcrowding in hospitals now is worse than it was then. Why should voters believe that you will fix the problem now?
Because we've invested more than any other government. We've invested over $33 billion, over 30% increase. We're actually building medical schools
Let's
for the
go,
first
guys.
time in some areas.
Double
over
the
100
length of the
years
actual
as
debate.
The Liberals
No,
got
not
rid of medical
We're out,
school seats.
we're
We're adding
30
hundreds
minutes
and
though.
hundreds. We've registered over 15,000 doctors, 100,000 nurses. And the way we do this, the foundation of healthcare, is very simple. You have a strong economy. That's why we've been able to invest in building more medical schools, having more doctors. We're paying for their tuition, by the way. All doctors, if you stay in primary care, you get your tuition paid for. We're paying for all the nurses right across the province for their education that none of these parties have ever done. Nurse practitioners, we're taking care of them on their education as well. We're doing everything we can to build the system, along with bringing Dr. Jane Philpott in, that will connect every single person to a primary caregiver.
All right. Doug Ford, thank you very much. Siobhan.
A question now for Mike Schreiner.
Okay.
For 10 years, you've
Also
been
good
vowing to
clip.
get rid of Catholic school boards, merge them with public boards. Your new platform doesn't mention that. Why not?
Yeah, because right now, we have a crisis in our public education system. The Ford government has cut per pupil funding for education by $1,500. The priority for people right now is to shore up our public education system. And that means supporting both our public and Catholic boards to hire more teachers, in, educational assistants, special educators, and just caring adults, social workers, so our students have the supports they need. I think coming out of the disruptions from the pandemic, we need to shore up our public
COVID mention. It took a long time for to get a COVID mention. That's very nice. Almost an hour before a COVID mention. That's good. I respect that. Because like falling back on COVID is a weak tactic in 2025.
Unfortunately, the current government has failed to do that. Ontario Greens are committed to reversing the $1,500 per student cut. We will invest in clearing the repair backlog, and we will ensure that we can lower class sizes because we would hire caring adults in our schools.
All right, Mike Schreiner, thank you. Siobhan.
We turn now to Bonnie Crombie. You have opposed building new highways in the GTA, but you haven't talked really about how you would address the issue of traffic congestion. What is your plan to tackle gridlock?
So certainly there are a lot of alternatives, and I will say this government has not acted on any of them. We need to invest more in our public transit systems. Look at the GO train lines. London, town of London has been promised a GO train line. It wasn't delivered. All-day two-way GO train service on the Milton line. It was promised again. It was never delivered. We're talking about $150 billion fantasy tunnels. Rather than utilizing existing resources like leveraging the 427 or truck-only lanes on the 407, there's a lot more public infrastructure that can be built, public transit that we need to invest in. Right across the province, look at the highways in the north, twinning the 2+1 lanes in 11 and 17, adding the extra 68 kilometers on Highway 69 in the north, because those roads are so treacherous and we rely on them. But here in the GTA, invest more in public transit to move people around. Here is where the needs are. People need to get to their jobs, and they need to get to their appointments and to their school.
Bonnie Crombie, thank you very much. And Siobhan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan.
Thanks, Siobhan.
Thanks, Siobhan.
Oh, everybody got it. Everybody got a question.
Ontario, of course, is a beautiful...
See, like everybody got their good clips. Who's Cleveland's weakest, in my opinion? I think the Liberals was
and varied
kind of weakest because she doesn't have the juice anymore. Because she's been insulting Doug Ford for the past like an hour. So like,
from
oh wow.
policy to the personal. We're looking for an answer in 15 seconds or less. We're basically, this is a tense room right now, I don't mind telling you. So we're just going with a little bit of something to break that tension. I'm going to start with Doug Ford and ask you a question I'll ask everyone here. If you have the weekend off from work, where do you go in this province?
I never stop working. I return calls. I have a cottage that I think I saw twice last year for 5 hours to cut the grass and came home. That's what I'm consumed about. I really am. I'm wake up in the morning early, 5:30, 6 o'clock.
You were supposed to answer the question, and because you didn't do that, we now think of you less of a person. So like that's why I don't like when people do this. So like they answer your question, what you're supposed to do is just answer the question to show that you're a human. But then he answers the question by referring back to like, I'm so good that I don't even go on breaks. It's like, yeah, you will get stuff for it when you do go on a break, but like at the same time,
return calls, and people know it across the province. From midnight, I'll return calls. So I enjoy working.
All right, Doug Ford, thank you. Mike Schreiner, same question. You got a weekend off from work. Where do you go in this province?
Yeah, I work really hard, David, but I also also spend a lot of time with my family. And my family and I like to go hiking in and around Guelph. We have amazing trails in Guelph. I love to hike along the Niagara Escarpment.
Respect. I still diss you. Diss.
I think
But
it's
you
really
answered the question
important to spend
correctly.
time with my family and nature.
All right, Mike Schreiner, I'll turn to Bonnie
Now we
Crombie.
think you're a
Get
real
weekend
person.
off. Where do you go?
Well,
Bonnie.
goodness, I love nature and I love spending time with my family as well. And my family are very physically fit and we're a little competitive about it. So my destination is going to be Thunder Bay because they have great rock climbing in Thunder Bay and I can't wait to go out and see it. And some of the other things we'll do is, of course, pickleball because it's so popular right now. I love pickleball.
And that is time. Marit Stiles, a turn to you finally.
Not
Get
bad.
a weekend off. Where do
But
you
at
go?
the same time, her passive stance is just kind of scary. Like, I don't know why. It's like, hello, Thunder Bay.
Well, I mean, you know, we're all going to say we work harder than anybody else. So, you know, there's that. But
Respect. She took the question. She answered the question, gets her clip. They're like, we work hard, work
I'm
hard,
a swimmer,
works.
and I just love
Respect.
swimming in Ontario lakes. You give me a lake, I will swim there. I have yet, though I will say honestly, ever swum in Lake Superior. So that is my next try, although I hear it's pretty cold. So I'm going to wait until the summer, obviously, and I'm going to swim.
Respect. That was a good answer. Like, Doug Ford's answer was terrible because all he said was a cottage. We don't know where that cottage is. We don't know where it is. And we know that you're a terrible vacationer. You don't know how to take a vacation. All the other guys, we know that they care about their family. They care. Marit Stiles kind of looks, sounds a little more.
It's a great place.
Because she just said, I'll swim by myself. She didn't say I'll swim by myself, but she did say I'll just swim. So like that, she does seem kind of
It
lonely.
is. I've done it. It's great.
Respect. But he still respect for his answer, but like disrespect because you're still.
Maybe we'll all meet up there.
We'll all meet there.
Let's turn back to policy with a look at
Doug Ford, give us some, like, don't do the Trump tactic. Right now he's doing the Trump tactic, which is bad in the sense that you just isolate yourself. And I'm like, I'm the best, so I don't need to go down to you clubs. But he's just being like, see, I work harder than all of you. Just that kind of thing. Bro's acting like a Pharisee. It's like, I'm the best. I work hard. I fast twice a week. I boast. I am so great. I'm not like other men. Thank God I'm not like other men. I'm so much better. I'm so much better than party leaders. Oh, yes. Yes. But everybody else is like, actually, sick. I've been to Superior. It's a great destination. Very nice. And then Bonnie. Yes. Superior. My family is physically fit.
at education. Another reminder that if
But
anyone
this is
here
still
makes a claim
stuff.
about one of their opponents in their answer, then that person gets extra uninterrupted time to respond.
Yay,
You get
we're
1
back to
minute
this
each
thing.
to
I don't
respond
like
to
it, but
this question, and I'll start with Marit Stiles. Colleges across this province are chopping programs, and they're doing this in the wake of successive provincial governments saying to them, go and get revenue from international students. We know the bottom's fallen out of that. A lot of that money is gone. So how do you fix what has become a crisis for many colleges?
Oh, well, thanks for the question. Yeah, and you know, as I travel around Ontario, I got to tell you, I'm met almost everywhere I go by workers and students at our colleges, at our universities, who are very, very deeply worried. Communities that depend on the economy of those institutions as well, what that's going to mean for communities as we're seeing programs cut, programs that students need, that we need if we're going to have the skilled workforce that we need to drive this economy and make us more self-reliant, particularly in the face of Trump's tariff threats.
First tariff mention from Marit Stiles. Very
so
nice.
it's absolutely essential. We are funding at the lowest rate of any province in Canada right now. That is
Such a shame. Thankfully, I'm not in that country, in that province
shameful.
for school. Do not ask me on how much Concordia is getting funded.
The answer isn't to increase tuitions. The answer is to properly fund post-secondary institutions.
Correct.
And I will add that
But will they do it? Most likely not.
a reliance on international students
Hopefully they will.
breaks my heart. A lot of those young people wanted to come here to build a life. They are part of our future, but we have to properly fund our post-secondary institutions.
All right, Martin Stiles, thank you. I'll turn.
Also, good answer on immigration, because no one has actually talked about it so far, and I'm very grateful because people are racist right now. And we don't need to be talking about immigration, because every time you talk about immigration in this economy, in this climate,
You all turn to Doug Ford on the financial challenges facing many colleges.
Yeah, when they saw the financial challenges, when the federal government cut foreign students, we jumped in there. We support them to a tune of $1.3 billion. We cut tuition the exact year we got elected. We cut it by 10%. We've never raised it. We're making sure that the students focus for jobs of the future. You know, what we did find out, a couple of classes, David, had 4 or 5 people in it. And we thought that's ridiculous, you know, like a basket weaving course. Let's focus on STEM. We graduate more STEM students than anywhere in the entire North America, over 70,000 STEM students, science, technology, engineering, and math. Those are the jobs of the future. We're going to continue investing.
it's not wrong, but at the same time, I want to do a basket weaving course. Just saying.
Not to
Maybe I
mention the
haven't
skilled
included
trades. There's a reason why all the trade unions are supporting us. At one time used to support you, but they know there's no future with any of your parties. And we're spending over $2.5 billion training skilled workers. And we've seen women, a 30% increase with women in the skilled trades.
All right. Doug Ford, thank you. Bonnie Crombie.
I think it's so important to educate our kids and prepare them for the jobs of tomorrow. And we don't even know what those jobs will look like now that AI is here, and it will change a lot of things for us. But what I do know is Doug Ford has set up a Ponzi scheme for our universities and our colleges, that they're relying on foreign students because he never capped them. He never capped them as they should have. My plan would be to cap foreign students at 10% so our kids have more space and reliance.
Yes.
I'm also going to increase OSAP for our students and extend the amount of time that they have to pay it back, and increase the threshold in which it kicks in when they have to pay it back. But let's
could be as little as
fund our colleges and universities properly.
Respect.
They only currently get 30% of their operating funding from the province. Every other province gives them up to 60%, and they're forced to rely on endowments and their reserves. And of course, they're closing departments and laying off people, because this government has created a Ponzi scheme, and it is not sustainable, and we need to cap foreign students.
Bonnie Crombie, thank you. I'll turn finally on this to Mike Schreiner.
Okay.
Yeah, David, we have to have an honest conversation with the people of Ontario. We have the lowest funding for post-secondary education of any province in the country. It would take an additional $5 billion in Ontario just to get to the provincial average. So what are the real-world implications of that? Colleges cutting programs to train people in the trades, train nurses, train people for vital jobs. I can tell you, as somebody who's started a number of businesses, I can't tell you how important it is to have our post-secondary education sector available to train the workers for my businesses and businesses across this province. Those programs are being cut. The $1.3 billion that was given to universities and colleges wasn't even enough to make up for the loss in funding from international students. We will not solve this crisis. We will not generate the trained workers we need for our economy if we don't fix this.
All right, Mike Schreiner, thanks very much. I'm going to turn back briefly to Doug Ford because I didn't catch it. Bonnie Crombie, evidently, you said his name, and that gives him a brief time to respond.
Well, first of all, just to inform Bonnie that it's the federal government, not the province, that cut the foreign students. Just to inform you, but
See, that's why I was like, ugh. That's why I dissed it. That was the easy. That yeah, yeah.
in saying that, we are training over.
Yeah, that was like, it was an easy alley-oop that way, and then also capping, and I told you don't talk about
For 1 million students. Just think of this: Skills Development Fund, $2.5 billion. We've already seen 600,000 people go through the system in all areas, not just skilled trades, but other skills that they have out there.
All right,
we're going to
that is
continue investing in the people and the students of this province.
We're going to continue.
Like they've ever seen before, which we're doing.
We'll continue on this same subject, post-secondary education, as it faces huge financial challenges. We're now going to have two leaders facing off, one-on-one, for 2 minutes. We'll turn to Marit Stiles and Doug Ford for this. First word to you, Marit Stiles.
Well, I want to start with something that Doug said about the kids and the graduating rates. Like, we are seeing a lot of people graduating from STEM programs in universities and colleges, but I want to shift this a bit because I think that they're graduating in spite of this government and in spite of actually everything they've experienced coming up through our publicly funded education system in the last few years. And so I want to ask more specifically about that, because education is the reason that I first ran for public office. I think kids are our future, and I think the investments that we make now in our publicly funded education system are crucial.
Hello? This one has the microphone. Oh no, Lord. Okay, no, okay, it is. Okay, that works. Let's see if it still works when I put this one in. Yeah, yep. Okay. Yes, okay, works.
To their success, but also to our success in Ontario. And so I want to ask Doug Ford why, after everything our children went through, everything they went through in the difficult years around the pandemic.
Second pandemic reference. Still another valid one. The first one was a valid one. This one was also a valid one. Respect.
You cut $1,500 per student from our education system and drove education workers and teachers out of our schools.
Well, first of all, that's an inaccurate statement. I'm going to tell you what the facts are. I know, and the three of you aren't very good with numbers, but the fact is,
I don't know if it's substantial, because I think they've been better with numbers
no
than you
one's
have.
ever invested more in education than we have. We've invested $40 billion in education. That's $10 billion more
Doug,
than the NDP and the Liberals when you prop them up.
Yeah,
something where we actually hired 9,000 more educators. Even though the population of students have been stagnant around 2 million, 9,000 more educators. As you two are closing 600 schools, we're building $16 billion of schools. As you were laying off teachers, we're hiring
So I'd like to get back in here, if I may, David.
That's the difference.
Look,
the foundation of education is built on our economy.
Parents with kids in our schools right now, they know that that's not true, okay? Classrooms, the class sizes are huge. We cannot find education assistants or teachers or other caring, qualified adults to work in our schools because you took them to court because you tried to freeze their wages. But you have actually reduced funding by $1,500 per student.
That is, I'll have to stop us there just to keep us on time here. The next debate's going to happen between Bonnie Crombie and Mike Schreiner. You have 2 minutes. First word to you, Mike Schreiner.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Crombie. As you know, our education system is hurting. Our post-secondary education system is so underfunded, and K-12 is underfunded.
Absolutely.
The Ontario Greens are the only party that's actually put forward a fully costed platform that shows how we can afford to reverse the $1,500 cut brought in by...
Why does the Green Party have so much sauce, but none that they're still going to lose?
By this government in K-12 education. We've shown how we can increase funding, base budget funding for our colleges and universities. will the Liberals bring forward a costed platform so people have the transparency they need to make a decision in this election?
Thank you for the question, Mike. And yes, absolutely, we will bring in a costed platform. But you know what I also wanted to refer to is the unemployment rate amongst our youth. They come out of their skill training, whether skill training or colleges and universities, and then 17% are unemployed. They can't find jobs. So I'm going to create 40,000 jobs for them through apprenticeship programs and other programs through our companies, and we're going to get them back to work. That is my commitment to our young people, to create 40,000 new jobs, to smash that unemployment rate in half.
I'm almost done. We're almost at the end of this thing. I just need to finish this whole thing. I want to finish this whole thing.
They're overcrowded and the schools are crumbling. Teachers are forced to pay for supplies from their own pocket. You know, they don't even have children. Our youth don't even have a textbook, one per each child.
Can I ask mind if I ask just a follow-up? Sorry, don't mean to interrupt.
True.
But it's just
true.
Wait.
Can I verify this? No, I cannot verify that. There are times that I have more than one. No, depending on when we switch around things, yeah. Depends. Even in my own school, there was times that you didn't have.
Because I think people, like, election day is a couple weeks away. People want to know that when we're all up here making promises, and these promises, they're like a sacred trust with people.
I agree.
And they want to know how you're going to pay for it.
Ontario Green's been honest. We would absolutely have our platform released. And I would think every one of us on this stage should make that commitment, David. Why don't you ask each one of us whether they will release their platforms costed?
I'll give you the opportunity to do that, because you will have in your closing statements the opportunity to do that. We have a lot of issues facing this province, and trying to narrow them down is a challenge. Housing, absolutely a big one. And so each of you will have 1 minute to answer in these questions. Bonnie Crombie, I'll start with you. Our home is our safe place, it's supposed to be. But for many renters, they face the threat of rent eviction, or a landlord saying, I'm going to move in, really just as a way to get them out. On the flip side of the coin, you have many landlords who have tenants who don't pay. And the system takes months to be able to try to get them out. What is your fix for renting in Ontario?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So the fix is to fix the landlord and tenant board, because I hear it from both sides. I hear about the dem evictions and the rent evictions, and I hear from the landlords that they're not collecting rent either. So the system isn't fair. Adjudicators haven't been appointed. My pledge is to fix the backlog in the landlord and tenant board within the first 3 months. There are 53,000 cases outstanding. I'm not sure what has happened over the past 7 years, but certainly there are not adjudicators been appointed to clear that backlog. But listen, I've got 3 kids. They can barely afford their rent. They're not putting any money away to hopefully buy a home one day. 2 of them got married this summer, and they want to start a family. And there aren't homes being built in Ontario, and not ones that our young people can afford. Alberta, BC, Quebec, they're eating our lunch. They have figured out home building. We haven't here. So I'm making a commitment.
I respect the compliment to Quebec, but you're wrong. But I know how I've been dissing her this entire time. I've been dissing Liberal Party this entire time. I have been dissing you, and it's been a thing. I've been dissing you this entire time. But congratulations to your kids getting married over the summer. I have to say some things that are
that I'm going to reduce the price of your home by removing those hidden taxes called development charges, but reducing the price by $170,000.
That is time.
Thank you.
We'll have to leave it there. Bonnie Crombie. Doug Ford, I will turn to you. What is your fix for renting in Ontario?
Oh, my goodness. When saying that she's going to get rid of development charges, all she did is increase taxes in Mississauga. And as I said before, Mayor...
That's the smartest idea, and he only has that for Crombie, which is kind of cool. But like, so he just keeps going. And Mississauga, you didn't do these things, right? You don't have the track record. They were cool ideas, but you didn't do them. I'm not gonna do them either, though. So like,
Mayor Carolyn Parrish has done more in 10 months, getting rid of the development charges, at least 50%, more incentives, than you have in 10 years, Bonnie. Isn't it amazing when you have new leadership in Mississauga? Their taxes are going to be under control right now. But we led the charge across the country in getting rid of the HST for purpose-built rentals. Now we have a record amount of purpose-built rentals. We're putting over $2 billion into infrastructure, the water.
True, I think, because I see a lot of rentals around in the country. But I don't know if they're really good for the country. I don't know.
Water, the sewers, the pipes that are needed, and that's going right across the province, that will be able to build an additional 1 million homes. That's what these communities want. They want infrastructure. But guess what? None of this can happen under their 3 watches, because I'll tell you, the economy would go down quicker than the Canadian bobsled downhill. And we're the only ones that have the economy moving. We'll continue to have the economy moving to generate more income.
Doug Ford, I'll leave it there with you. Thank you very much. Bonnie Crombie, you heard your name being said by Doug Ford. You get 30 seconds
over again.
to respond.
It's really funny because Doug Ford stood in the legislature and heaped praise on me and on my record and said what a fantastic job creator I was and how the economy was booming in Mississauga and that I had kept all my promises as mayor. And we've got that going out viral because I just want to remind him that, he may think differently today, but back when I was mayor, he thought I was doing a pretty incredible job. And I wanted to mention is
Bonnie Crombie's time. Please go ahead. Yeah. You have 5 more seconds.
I have 5 more, sorry.
Yeah.
I wanted to add as well that we would phase in rent controls over a period of time. I think that would be really helpful to people who can't afford their rent today. And while we make it more affordable to buy a home, our kids are losing the dream of buying a home. Some of them even want to leave the province.
Bonnie Crombie, thank you very much. I've got to turn now to Mike Schreiner. A reminder, the question is, what is your fix for renting in Ontario?
Technically.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to my colleague Ashlyn Clancy, MPP for Kitchener Centre, who put forward the most comprehensive bill in Ontario to protect renters, bringing back rent control, restrictions around above guideline rent increases, restrictions against rent evictions, because we need to protect renters in this province. Ways to fix the landlord-tenant board that works for landlords and for tenants. David, we have a whole generation, my daughter's generation, saying, we're never going to be able to afford a home, let alone pay the rent. That's exactly why the Ontario Greens have committed to building 2 million homes and removing the restrictions to build missing middle houses.
This guy has so much emotion, bro. I wish I could vote for you, bro. Depending on how this thing works, you have so much emotion, bro. You might be lying to me, but the amount of emotion that I'm receiving from you, bro.
Houses, 6 to 11-story multi-residential buildings in large urban centers. But unfortunately, the government said no to that bill. Like they said no to my bill to build more homes that you can afford in the communities you know and love. We have to start getting back to building. We need a government that will say yes.
All right, that's time. Mike Schreiner, thank you very much. You said Doug Ford's name.
I don't think I did.
No, I don't think you did.
Well, let's pretend
you said
he
the
did.
government. Excuse me, you said the government. The voices in my head are telling me that.
Well, just,
let's go check.
Restrict the Ontario Greens home, let alone my daughter's generation, and for tenant events. Ways to fix against rent evictions. Found above guide Ontario to protect renters, who put forward them. I give a shout out to my
reminder. The question is
Ashlyn Clancy in Ontario guideline renting renters in this and for tenants. David, we have a whole generation, let alone pay the rent, saying we're never going to be able to afford a home, let alone pay the rent. That's exactly why the Ontario Greens have committed to building middle houses, 6 to 11-story said no to that bill. Like they said, no large urban centers. But unfortunately, the government said no to that bill. No one loved.
We've hired more adjudicators and landlord-tenant board. It's actually, the numbers are actually going down now. We're going to make sure we have some of the toughest laws to protect tenants. But as you were saying, Dave, some people abuse that and they stay in there for a year. We're going to make sure we clear up the backlog. But what this comes down to is they believe in higher taxes, new taxes, any taxes. That's what they believe in.
See, that's the thing. He has two reports. He has they don't know about the economy, and then they're gonna add taxes. None of these people have said tax. None of them. Like NDP hasn't said anything about reducing taxes. She just said like the rebate thing, which rebate. I don't know. Rebate. So rebate. Green has said that he's going to reduce taxes for both. Liberal says that she's going to take down from taxes from middle income. That's the way it is, my friend Doug Ford. So both of your statements are lies, kind of. Your economy statement is just unfalsifiable because you're just saying they don't know how to keep the economy good because it's good now. Basically, that's what you're implying. But like, people don't get that. Well, okay.
You've proved it. You voted against us every single time. I don't believe in taxing the people.
That is time. We're running short on the clock. Marit Stiles, Fix for Renting in Ontario.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, first of all, these two, once again, fighting over who builds the least housing in the middle of a housing crisis. Go figure. But look, Doug Ford has talked a lot, a good game about housing, but where is the housing, Doug? Where is it? Not being built. And we know, as I mentioned previously in this debate, that rent is up on average of 38% since 2018 when his government came to power. We have generations of people in this province who are never going to be able to imagine owning a home under this government. I want to tell you, though, about a woman named Lynn, 64 years old. I met her in Ottawa. She lost her home.
First time. I love the allegories. They gave us anecdote. Give us an anecdote. 64-year-old Lynn.
Was renting. When she went into the hospital for some issues, she came out. Rent was through the roof. Couldn't afford it. Bad luck. Ends up in living out of her car for 8 weeks before she get into a shelter. She said to me, please raise this issue with Doug Ford. Please tell him, never in a million years would I've imagined myself.
Lynn. Sorry about your situation. And also, thank you for talking to Marit Stiles. Not bad. Not bad.
The answer to what Lynn needs is rent control, and it is truly affordable homes. The NDP is the only party that is actually committed to real rent control and building truly permanently affordable housing.
I used to diss NDP, but this NDP is way better than the other NDP. Because the other NDP is way, like, I don't know. It's just like the NDP of the federal is just so lax. It's just so bad. It's so bad. At least this one is actually almost fundamentally different from the Liberal Party, and I respect that. I respect that.
Marit Stiles, thank you. Doug Ford, you get 30 more seconds. Your name was mentioned.
Yeah, because
we believe in making sure that we continue building more and more. And you know what it is, Marit? All you have to do is look outside the door. There's more cranes, and I want to do more, believe me, because I understand there's more cranes going up in Toronto, right in your own backyard, than in New York and Chicago, Dallas, San Francisco, Seattle, and a few other cities combined.
I can guarantee you that number is not true.
So they're being built up. But do you know what we need to do? We need to cut the red tape. We need to get rid of the development charges and all the fees, the parks fees, that fees.
Okay.
And again, I just believe is making sure you put money
I'll just have to cut you off there because we're moving to an open debate on housing. Doug Ford going to begin here. The rest of you can jump in as you see fit. Plenty of talk about building new homes. The challenge is many developers not really doing all that much building.
I'm getting tired.
Ford, how would you
we're
change
almost
that?
there. We're almost there.
First of all, you have to have people that can afford a home.
Right? Okay, we're not bad. Not bad. We have like
taxing them to death.
I'm going to
10 minutes left.
But that's right. We have more people unemployed today than we've had in a
believe in
decade.
taxing people to death.
Under
Under your watch, 300,000 jobs are lost immediately. 250,000 people have a bigger job and a better
Mr. Ford has said we're raising taxes on housing. He's absolutely wrong. Our first-time home buyers plan would lower taxes and fees so you can afford a home in the community you know and love.
We'll shut this down.
It's like stream party.
To move on to our next subject, and that is climate. Given the time frame we're up against, we have 30 seconds on that. Mike Schreiner, I start with you.
Let's go.
It would appear that the
That was
federal
interesting.
carbon tax as it
Nothing
currently
happened there.
exists is going to disappear. How do you reduce emissions quickly?
Addressing climate starts with protecting the people and places we love in this province. We have to protect Ontario from Mr. Ford's attack on our farmlands, our wetlands, and our greenbelt.
Mm.
We need to ensure that we protect the nature that protects us from these unsafe weather events caused by the burning of fossil fuels. We need to stop the government from ramping up fossil gas plants, which will increase electricity prices and pollution. And we need to stop subsidizing big oil and gas companies.
All right, Mike Schreiner, thank you. Mart Stiles.
Glorious
Well,
clip.
I mean, first of all, yeah, we absolutely have to protect our farmland. You saw under Doug Ford, he wanted to carve up one of the most important carbon sinks that we have in this province, the Greenbelt. And that's what Doug Ford will do. Every time he says one thing in front of the camera and another thing behind closed doors, you can't trust him on this. And with somebody, making some big changes in the South, where we're going to have to step up as a province, I think, in a bigger way to promote climate action. I just want to say thank you to all of those young people who are fighting so hard for climate action in the province of Ontario.
Okay, that is time. I'll turn to Doug Ford.
Do you know what killed more jobs than anything? Is the carbon tax. The queen of the carbon tax, Bonnie Crombie, she believes in the carbon tax. And my other two colleagues here, they love the carbon tax. And it just doesn't cut it. We have the greatest reduction of emissions anywhere. We're at 90% clean energy, one of the cleanest grids in the entire world. And do you know how we did it? We invested. We invested with DeFasco and Algoma, putting electric arc furnaces in. That's like taking 2 million cars off the road. We're building the Ontario line. That's taking 28,000 cars off the road.
Okay, I'll have to jump in on you, Doug Ford and Bonnie Crombie.
Unfortunately, Doug, you don't get the plight of real people because you were raised privileged with a silver spoon in your mouth. You didn't have to work for anything. You got a company handed to you, Doug, so you don't understand how expensive things are today. I bet you couldn't tell me what the cost of eggs are. I am the first Liberal to stand up and say it's too expensive to have a consumer carbon tax. I was the first Liberal to say there will be no tax on consumers. There will be no carbon tax, Doug. I have said that repeatedly, but you just like your friend Donald Trump make things up. You are saying lies.
That is time. Thank you. We'll continue moving on.
You were to have the leaders.
The last minute, bro. In the last minute, we gotta drop this. Telling Doug Ford close to Trump. It's crazy, bro. We living in crazy times. I knew as soon as she was like privileged, I was like, are you gonna go the full way? Are you gonna do the full thing? Are you gonna give me what I want? A Trump diss. Anybody that does a Trump diss, it could hurt your campaign because people may like Trump in Ontario. Not many, but there are a few people that do love Trump in this country. And as such, bruh, that was a crazy statement, and but I still respect it kind of because it was a diss. It's a sustained diss, and I respect the diss. If you, the eggs thing was also quite nice because it disses Trump. Very nice. It was a good one. Respect.
Dinner to your house. What would you make them exactly?
Simple things like a soup. Because we show them that there is no money, so we can buy the groceries.
Hamburgers,
fries,
sausages, and the best French fries in the city.
I don't cook. My partner would do it. And it would be pasta.
We start with some cocktails, some wine, and maybe some pasta, and maybe food of the poor, so they realize what people really need in Ontario.
Oxtail.
Why?
I mean, being in Canada, Toronto, it's lots of culture to share, lots of different perspectives and viewpoints, and that's part of being Canadian we love is sharing your difference in cultures.
That's what some Ontarians told us they would prepare for these leaders. So as we try to have a bit of a lighter moment here, if you had the other leaders over for dinner, what would you make? 15 seconds, Mart Stiles.
Boiled dinner from back home in Newfoundland. Very, very, very inexpensive. Cabbage, salt meat. Potatoes, something a lot of us could probably relate to. Delicious, and I make a really good one.
Mart Stiles, thank you.
That one most likely to taste. Land is whatever, but she is a white woman. Respect it. Respect that. Stay true to your culture. Stay true.
You, Doug Ford.
Macaroni and cheese.
All right.
Based. He knew that was gonna hit. And that's a good.
I love making homemade pizza with all Ontario ingredients, which is why we need to protect Ontario's farmland.
Nice.
Not bad. This is the one question that I respect that answer, because like the other ones, like you could do those like political games and it works, but like this one, because he flew it in, it was very fluid. It was very fluid, and still, you still gonna lose.
So I'm Polish, as you
3
know, and I
hours,
grew
bro.
up with my grandparents.
I've been
in the
talking
White
about
House,
this
and I
for
learned
3
to
hours.
cook under my grandmother's wing. And so, of course, you're going to get
Okay.
pierogies in cabbage rolls, and you're going to get borscht, beet soup, and you're going to get all kinds of Polish delicacies, because that's what I love to cook. And I thank my babcia for teaching me.
Bonnie Crombie, thank you. Okay, we have time left for each of you to make a closing statement. That is one uninterrupted moment. And we will start with PC leader Doug Ford.
Well, folks, we're going to have a very clear choice in this upcoming election. This is all about leadership.
Yeah, it's not you.
We've seen what Donald Trump is going to do in the White House for the next 4 years. And no matter if he puts a tariff on us today, tomorrow, next month, next year, you know, it would devastate our economy. There's one person on that stage that's going to protect your families, protect jobs, and protect businesses and protect communities. And that's myself. We're going to reinvest into the economy like we did, and we saw over 850,000 jobs. We're going to diversify trade around the world, which we did. We saw over $70 billion of investment. But I can't do it without a strong mandate. If I get a strong mandate from the people of Ontario, I will work harder than I've ever worked. I will fight against Donald Trump like you've never seen before. On February 27th, I'm asking for your vote, and may God bless the people of Ontario.
Doug Ford, thank you very much. We'll turn now to Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie.
We need a premier that will protect everyone's job, not just his own, and who is able to get us a family doctor like they had promised. You know, tonight we talked a lot about some really important issues, no question. And I want to leave you with this. If we want to change our healthcare system and a family doctor, you need to change the government. So today I'm asking you, I'm asking those of you who voted NDP in the last election to vote Liberal, to vote for a government that will fix our healthcare system and to get you a family doctor. And together, we can change government. Thank you.
All right, we'll turn now to the NDP's Marit Stiles.
When times are tough, people look for hope. And for me, I find that hope in the strength of the people that I meet all across the province of Ontario. But after 7 long years of Doug Ford and his wasteful scandals and his broken promises, rising costs are really hurting a lot of people in this province, and they are weakening us. He has left us weaker than ever before. A few weeks ago, while he was facing, and we were facing, the biggest threat that our country has faced in generations, he decided to quit his job. Now, most people in Ontario, if you quit your job and then you didn't show up for work the next day, you wouldn't expect to be rehired. But Doug thinks that he deserves that. I got to tell you, you don't have to settle for this. You have the power to change things. And I want to offer you that hope. We can fix our schools. We can build truly affordable, permanently affordable homes. We can hire doctors and fix the healthcare crisis that these folks have contributed to. And we can bring new leadership and new ideas to Ontario. It's time for change.
All right, we will turn now to the Green Party leader, Mike Schreiner.
I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight. My commitment to you is that I will fight to put you and your community first. I will fight for fairness. Right now, in Doug Ford's Ontario, the rich insiders are getting richer, and the rest of us are just struggling to get by. You have to ask yourself if it's any better now than it was 7 years ago. And it's clear when it comes to housing, healthcare, education, climate action, affordability, the answer is no. What separates Greens from every party up here is that we're running local champions who will be your voice at Queen's Park, not the leader's voice in your riding. I tell my deputy leaders, Matt Richter and Perry Salmuskoka and Ashland Clancy in Kitchener Center, that I'm not your boss. The people of your riding are your boss. And we need more of that in Ontario. And that's what the Ontario Greens will deliver as we fight for fairness.
All right, Mike.
That was good. That was the best one. I dissed this man the entire time. But his quiet answer, I don't think he's had a major L in this entire thing. He, like, what's it called? Styles got, like, caught the most strays. He got the most strays from me, but, like, she got the most strays just off the, like, from the other people. No, maybe not. No, it was Crombie. It was definitely Crombie. Crombie, like, just kept getting fired, like, hit by everybody. Just like random shots would just hit her somehow. Then this guy, he just was helping everybody out except Doug Ford. Doug Ford got the most direct attacks. Most of them landed. Some of them didn't. I have to agree. But most of them did land. Landed on his shoulder. He just was like, he just pretended as if they didn't phase him. But this guy just stayed. He just was dishing out compliments to one side. Compliments. Pieces of critique. Little pieces of critique. No real jabs. No jabs. One guy got a Trump comparison. And it wasn't this guy. Strongest, like, his rhetoric was strong. This guy is the best at talking, I think, out of all of these guys. Crombie is, like, third. Because she got a bit too frustrated at different points. Merritt Styles she just has some vibes that are off sometimes. But, like, the biggest major L was Crombie in her answer for the healthcare question. You don't answer a healthcare question with sometimes promises don't go. Oh God, that was a bad answer. That was a bad answer. See, Schreiner is even disappointed in that answer.
Thank you. And as we wrap ourselves up tonight for this, the 2025 Ontario Leaders Debate, I would like to thank certainly all 4 leaders who are on this stage with me tonight and thank them for joining us on this Family Day. PC leader Doug Ford, Green Party leader Mike Schreiner. We also have the NDP's Marit Stiles and Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie. Thank you all for those watching and listening, for engaging in your future. As we know, Election Day just 10 days away. It'll happen on Thursday, February 27th. I'm David Common. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everybody here, and have a great night.
I'm staying awake so late. How long is it? It's 12:36. So late. Yeah. Oy, oy, oy. Oh, we made it, guys. I made it. I made it to the end. Like, that was a good time. I like that. I liked reading through that whole thing. And also they talking to each other, they've been insulting each other. It was very nice. It was a nice debate. I really liked it. Thank you people for joining me in this long stream. Anyone that's here, I respect you, bro. I respect you for real, for real. I respect you. But like, thank you guys for showing up. See you tomorrow with back to math. We're gonna do some calculus streams, calculus work. That's gonna be good. And then we'll go calculus, linear algebra. We'll do some chemistry on Thursday after and a recap of voting, and then Friday we'll do some chemistry. And then yeah, that's the way that's gonna work. Thank you people for showing up. See you tomorrow with calculus. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment if you're in the replay, say replay. And thank you people.